Let's get started.
Here we go. Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this. Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
For the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
He did it right this time. Salutations. That's the bottom of the bag. Don't judge it on that.
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. Kamar, any new patrons?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking. No. Tuning in, everybody.
Oh my god.
I have a question for you. Kamar, when fans take photos with you, do you force them to post like best comedian in Ottawa?
No. Okay, this is what happened. That guy, I said, just say you got to go see Kamar Babar. That's all I want you to say. Any ad libs on
Do you have a gunpoint?
No. They came up to me and said, "Hey, man, I think you're really, really funny." I said, "Would you like to say that on Instagram?" And they're like, "Sure, I'd do it." So I filmed them. But the one guy goes,
Dude, he's 10 years away from you. Want to suck my dick, kid?
if you don't go see Kamar Bar, you're gay. And I posted it. And then he messaged me the next day. He was like, "Hey, sorry, man, but could you take down that thing when I say you're gay? I don't want to lose my job."
Yeah, it's ugly out there, bro.
I re-edited it, and then he posted that. I don't ask that. That's just the fans. But back to what you asked. A big shout out to Kyle Fraser.
Thanks, Kyle.
Shout out Kyle.
And thank you to all the Patreons, past and present.
Yep.
Subscribe to the YouTube.
Shout out to all y'all.
Like, smash that hit button.
Went over the
Leave a
guest.
comment.
Go over the guest list so we can.
Squash that squish button.
Yeah, what Simon said.
This was a late week too, eh? I think it might have been because it was on the heels of the attempted assassination of the 45th
What?
president of the United States. But we had 2176 Chad Daniels, followed by 2177 legendary rocker Chris Robinson, followed up by 2178 Sam Morrill.
2178. 2178.
All right, well, what do you rate this week?
I'll give it a 3.
My God, I give it a 2.
I mean, normally, I would be in the low 1 digits, the real low 1 digits, but have a whole new outlook.
Do you want to give your wife a shout out?
I'm living every day
Yeah.
like it may be my last.
Okay.
And God knows how many more podcasts we're going to have.
Are you crying a lot?
No, I'm so happy.
It's a callback from the joke.
Did Nas knock something loose?
No, that was the first step towards. Who knows how many times I'll ever see Nas again? Probably 0.
Oh, no, you will not see
Well,
him
you
again.
don't know what could happen.
I don't think I'll see him again.
All I know is I only have a certain amount of summers left, and you have to take advantage of all of them. By that logic, this might be like a 4.7.
Wow.
I feel like I have a lot to do with this. I feel like I was the catalyst to this, if I may.
Were you? I thought it was like
Hold on.
Ariana Grande or something.
The Summers was me out back at the end of last
yeah.
week.
Okay,
I got you
perfect.
the
So
ticket to
there you
Blues
go.
Fest.
Yep.
You didn't even want to go. I was like,
Free ticket, I might add.
yeah, I had to pay for mine. I got Simon a fucking free ticket.
Well, listen, I had to buy him a beer.
Yeah, it
and
cost
that was
$20.
like $55. So it all kind of washed in the wash,
true.
you know?
It's funny, Rose said that to me too. He's like, I am making him buy me a beer. And I was like, whatever. And he was like, it's like $20.
It is. It was $21.
For
It's
two.
insane. Well,
You got yourself one.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's still very expensive
Well,
for Molson Canadian.
that's like being like, I had to get him a whore. It was $1,000.
If they
I mean, I
put-
got one for myself too.
If they put the word Canadian on there, we should automatically get a discount.
Yeah, true.
You should really try to go to Folk Fest.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, you
I'm
will.
going to them all. I wish I hadn't missed Escapade.
Are you going to Riverfest?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to Tree Fest. I'm going to Dirt Fest. I'm going to them all, man. I'm
Folk Fest
festing
will
it
be
up.
chill.
No, if there was somebody I wanted to see, who like actually in any way.
Do you want to see the people who are going to go see Maren Morris? I'll tell you that right fucking now, because it's the last time you see them till
I'm not like you, okay?
Lies.
I am not like you.
They not like us.
Probably minor.
Yeah. That's all I picture Simon out there doing the crip walk.
So yeah,
Kamar not like us.
So by my new logic, what do you figure? How many episodes of Joe Rogan does he do a year? 200?
No, what are you nuts?
More than that?
Oh yeah, no, I guess yeah.
400?
No.
Like,
You're,
how
3 a
many?
week, 52 weeks, 150.
I'd go more at 175-ish.
Let's say 200 just to be generous.
Fine.
Okay, 200. And again, like hopefully this is on the low side, but let's say I have 20 summers left.
Yeah.
Okay. What am I? I'm 47. I mean, that would be really early, but even at 20 summers left, let's give me 30 summers. Let's give me 25 summers. Okay.
Okay.
25
Why don't you?
summers.
Okay, sure.
No. You know what? If I'm just making it up anyways, 40 summers.
Will you just do what you're going to do here?
40 summers.
You know what? You know what? I don't even know why
What
I'm
if I
doing this.
live 100
Why don't I give
more
myself
summers?
50 summers?
Maybe I should wait till tomorrow.
You know what? I don't even have to go to Folk Fest. I just realized 50 summers is more than enough.
35 summers, okay? 35 summers.
Wow, you're gonna die
I mean,
fast.
listen, who knows? By that point, we could be living until we're like 300.
What
It
if
could be
this-
another 260
This
summers.
could be your last summer.
Exactly. Kumar. Exactly. So 35. No, you know what? We'll 30. 30 times 200. You're looking at 6,000 more Joe Rogans. I mean, I got to take advantage of every
But doesn't
single
that
one.
seem like an eternity?
But you
And
think
life will
Joe's
go
going to be
forever?
doing this for 30 more summers?
Well, he's going to live longer than I am. We know that.
Yeah, but you think at 87?
I mean, he is a fucking, yes, I could totally see it. Egomaniac, wants to have his voice heard for the rest of time.
He's like Joe Biden. He's literally like, I worked a Neil Young concert and there was a big fight and I beat up 10 guys.
We'll be right back.
I sure didn't leave with my hood on, that's for sure.
Something happens. Joe gets stuck and he has to end up golfing for the first time. And it grabs him and he realizes, I only have 20 summers left.
I'm not wasting him on this stupid
That's
podcast.
true. Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's,
golf.
yeah, that's
I'm
so
getting a
true.
hole in one. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, it's not a lot of Joe Rogans left. It's not a lot of summers left. It's not a lot of days left. Got to just live them all, man.
It's never too late
Live
to be the
them
person you
all.
thought you were going to be.
Kamar, do you want to rate the week? Or we all rated it?
We did all that.
Oh, perfect. Then let's
kick
get into
off.
it. Start it up.
2176 Chad
4.7.
Daniels. First time on the podcast. He had a special that just came out, and I don't even think they promoted it. It was that cool of a conversation. I'll give him that credit. Who knows what we've signed away
You know, it's actually kind of a mistake.
in not plugging it?
Yeah, at least at the end, like in the 2 minutes where Joe's like, where are you going to be? What's your Instagram?
Maybe
Be like,
he did. Maybe he did.
You know what? We appreciate cool. Americans don't appreciate that same cool. You got to go in like Darnell. And the very first thing
Yeah,
you say
reggae
is,
horn,
yeah,
like web, July
special.
17th. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mike Baker and his, if I could just do a shameless plug right
Yeah.
now.
It's got to be like bottle service at a club.
Joel, let me just get all of these shameless plugs out of the way right at the beginning so we don't have to worry about them
Yeah.
anymore.
I've got this, Joe.
All right, that was
But actually, it's funny because my phone told me I only listen when you want me to yesterday.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Say that again. Your
like
phone
you
told
asked
me.
her a question and she said that.
No, I must have said something. And it says I only listen when you want me to. It was the weirdest.
He has a relationship
message.
with ChatGPT. And
No,
I've been
no, no.
talking to it so much that it's like, just so you know, I only talk when you want me
Maybe
to.
it was ChatGPT. I thought it was the iPhone, but it was a guy's voice. It was weird.
Where
But
are you going, Kamara? I'm going out to get something to eat. Without me?
the idea, the Alexa is always listening.
Yeah.
Who knows what you've signed away in the terms of services at this point, and just by a button. Whereas beginning of the internet, no one would put their credit card on there. No one would go anywhere near that sort of feeling this anonymity. All you have is an IP address, but now we've given it
It's
all
like
away.
the 32andMe. What is it?
23 and me being bought by BlackRock. Or,
Well, whoever, they're getting
Sixth
all
Street
that
or whatever it
DNA.
was, yeah.
They're for sure growing an army of fucking Nobody's in a warehouse somewhere.
NPCs.
I think I told you, Simon, there was a bunch of people when the GTA 6 ad dropped, there was a bunch of people that were like, I feel like I'm in this ad. And they did some digging and they were like, all those, you did like the make me old thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
They
like,
got me.
yeah. It's like we can use your face for whatever we want. And that's one of the things where GTA just goes and buys
It's
up
so
data in
ridiculous.
a bulk for like $1 million or
What
whatever.
were we talking about before? What led to that? What was the
Catalyst to that? It
Yeah.
was the, come on, are you paying attention here?
For which?
He's not.
We're fucking stoners. This idiot's driving the boat.
When did you guys get here?
No, seriously, what were we talking about that led to you say that? Because I had something I wanted to say.
Giving your information away.
Oh yeah, right.
What was the catalyst
What's
for that?
What's so crazy that we're back. What's so crazy is the Green River Killer. One of those killers was caught. Oh, the one who left the cipher, I think. Whatever. Anyways.
The Zodiac Killer?
No, maybe not the Zodiac. I think it was like the Green River Killer.
Okay.
He's like a famous serial killer.
Okay.
And he was caught. Or no, I'm sorry. It was the
Don't do this.
the original Night Stalker.
Okay.
Because there are two Night Stalkers. The fucking,
Ramirez and-
he's the fake or the second, and then the original Night Stalker I think is the one they caught. And they caught him because somebody in his family had done a 23andMe. Not him. Somebody in his genetic line, and that caught him. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Like,
dude.
you sign away?
That is
Oh,
right
that was
out
great.
of
We are back,
a,
Simon.
thank you, Kamar. We are right out in a Black Mirror episode there.
I'm wrestling with doing it.
You don't have to. They've already done it. You're in the bank. You might as well do it at this point. Like, somebody in your family has done it already.
I don't know anyone from my family.
You don't know anyone from your
But
family.
hold on. It's not always there's only.
From that side of my family.
You know none of your mother's side of the family.
Well, I don't care about my mother's side. I care about my father's side.
I don't care about my mother's side.
You need to care about all the sides.
But what if there's a side that's related to my father's side that lives across the street or whatever?
Oh, I see. To find them. I'm talking
you
about
see?
they do it and you're in the system.
I know, and if someone showed my door and said, this is going to sound crazy, but I did a DNA test, that'd be wild.
That would be wild. But if they also convicted you of some crime, like we found your fingerprints on the
That's not why I'm. That's
Back
not. That's
door
not.
of
That's
the
not why I
hockey
take pause.
rink.
It's like $400, dude.
400, and I love that they're like.
Spit in a cup.
I love that they're charging you for this.
And your data goes
Yeah.
to China to make a specific bioweapon. I told that to a girl
to make a specific clone.
just to kill you, and she's like, "Is that for real?" I said, "I don't think so." Joe bought a heckle for $500.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I don't know if that's true.
Joe said he bought
Yes,
a
it must
heckle
be.
off a fellow comedian. Remember?
He bought a heckle.
Yeah, he was
A
like, I
heckle
bought a
line.
joke. He's
So
like,
a
I bought
heckle
a
line
joke
for a
off I bought a joke off a comedian.
What was the joke?
It was when God made you. Did he take the
He had extra
salt
cunt or
shaker
something.
of cunt and shake it on you, and the cat fell over? Like, just a little bit. Oh, too much.
It's not funny. So he bought that from somebody?
Well,
Yeah.
exactly $500.
Whoa.
You could tell he had
That's what
sitcom money.
That's what he said.
No, okay. I'm just asking. I don't remember this part. He was in like a club. Somebody did this joke. He walked up to them and was like, that salt joke, love it. Can I buy it from you?
That's what he said.
He said, I think at the time he didn't have a lot of good heckler comebacks.
That's crazy.
And he was like, "Are you going to use that?" And the guy said, "No." And Joe was like, "I'll buy it off you for $500."
I've never even heard of such a thing. Do you think that happens a lot? It's like fucking trading cards. I'll trade you this joke for that joke. I think it'll work better in my set.
No, I think now a lot of them like just give like Louis, like Sam Morril mentions like, "Oh, Louis punched my joke up." Like I think they just do that for free. And if anyone has a good one for you, it's
I would imagine that most comedians probably don't want other comedians to punch their jokes up from an ego point of view, you know?
Au contraire, for me, as a hack comedian,
Yes, there you go.
if someone offers me a line or whatever, I'm like, you listen to what I said? Like, I'm flattered, always. But
Kamar's just happy they're listening
yeah,
at all.
yeah. I'm just so happy to be here.
that's a
my
great
God.
segue too. There's something about the singer-songwriter that we put on the highest pedestal versus a singer that someone else's words, and even the writer, they don't get any real love, but it's their words. Do you agree?
No. Singer-songwriters you think are put on a higher pedestal than a singer?
than a singer that just sings other people's songs.
I think if you have a hit song, that's where it puts you on the pedestal. Doesn't matter if you wrote it or not. Nobody ever knows if you write your own shit or not.
Or two singer-songwriters. This is the idea of like coming
this?
from nowhere doing
How
something.
about this, Kamar? People that really care, I think I would agree with you. But like Simon's saying, I think most people are just on the periphery where, like, most people don't even know that it's a cover.
What are we even talking about?
Interesting.
Just
Music.
any
Sorry,
song,
my bad.
music.
Oh, I see.
Jesus, are you paying any attention to the podcast?
No, but
we're
I
doing
didn't know
today?
we were talking about covers. That's what I mean. You
No,
just
he's talking about
brought that
he's
out of
talking
nowhere.
No, because
That's Simon's safe word.
I'm bringing out covers because like there's a lot of popular songs that get recycled through the generation. Like you'll go back and you'll be like, oh, this is actually a Nina Simone song.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
Billie Holiday did
Yeah,
that
yeah,
song.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that doesn't really matter because
it's crazy, right? That I know we've talked about this before. So Sting gets whatever it is. I think it's $1 million a year
day.
from Diddy. No, $1 million.
it's
a
5,000 a day. Sorry.
I think it's 1,000 a day, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think it works out to about $1 million
every breath I take.
a year for that song. And then another rapper, Juice WRLD, stole another one of his songs, and he also gets paid on that. Like that guy could just retire to the beach and get paid from these two rappers for the rest of eternity.
I mean, I think that Diddy, that
that
Diddy
train
money
has
has run
sailed,
dry,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Fair enough, Matt. Fair enough.
Vanilla Ice still makes money
Off what?
off his album, which is crazy because that was such
So that means
a
that
cool
How is
album
that
to me.
possible?
Suge Knight actually makes money.
No,
Because doesn't he own? Didn't he hang him off a
might
roof?
not make
to
songs
get
says that
all
never
the money
happened.
off just Ice Baby alone because of Queen, but
I mean, Vanilla Ice said it happened.
No, he said it never happened.
No. I think Suge Knight said it never happened.
No, he said they came in. He said they never hung him off the balcony. He
Really?
said some goons walked into my hotel room. They said this would be best for me, and then they left. That's what he says.
You're
Robert
saying
Van
that's
Winkle.
What Van Winkle says.
Yeah.
they were talking about the audition process. Have you ever had to audition for anything?
Of course I have.
Well,
Well, I went to acting school. I definitely went to a bunch of, I tried to be an actor for a year or two.
That's all.
When
wanna
I
talk about
was
it.
in grade, Jesse, our biggest fan, will love this. We actually, I didn't have to audition for that, and it doesn't matter.
Did you ever do the audition in grade school for choir?
No, I never wanted to be in the choir.
They'd have everyone line up, I don't know, 60 kids, and you'd all sing, I don't know, Mary Had a Lamb or something, and they just walk up and be like, no.
No, yeah, nice.
No. And that's when you found out you couldn't sing.
No.
Like we didn't even have to audition to get into band because everyone had to be in band.
And everyone sucked at first. Probably senior band auditions.
we stunk. No, junior band. The whole trumpet section. None of us knew how to play. No, for real. We would just make our cheeks go big and do the thing. There was no trumpet section.
It was the worst, though, because Miss Waiwata would always single you out. She'd be like, you play it solo for a
Yeah,
second. You'd be like,
yeah.
oh, fuck.
That's when it all
Because,
came
dude,
crashing down.
what I did was I chose the trombone because I realized, I was like, wait a minute, it's just positions. It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, fuck, I can get that, no problem.
It's hard.
But then I realized, I was like, wait, you actually have to learn to read music? Because what I was doing at first is I would get the smart, the good trombone player. I was like, just write one whatever over the notes. She was like, that's not really how it works. I was like, just do it. And then eventually I was like, wait a minute, I can just follow the person beside me, their hand movements. And then like you, I was like, I'm just blowing my cheeks out.
Did you see Drake on Martin Short? What's it called there?
Jiminy
Jiminy
Glick.
Glick.
Oh,
Jiminy
no.
Glick.
No, I
Where
didn't
he's
see
like,
that.
how come
Willie Mays died recently.
how come tuba players are always the fat kid?
Oh, fuck. He's hilarious.
I don't know if you noticed it, but they showed a audition reel of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And he's just going off, and the guy, the casting agent, he said, is like, just please say the line.
Yeah, please do the line. Can we please do the line?
Give me a break. I really need this. He's fucking around. But I've heard numerous people say in auditions they do totally fucked up shit, and they think that's why they got the part.
Yeah.
Like when it's reading, I forget what the actor's name, but he was like, he read it, and then the person will try it again another way. So he took his shoes off, put them on the table, and read it again the same way. Just some sort of thing like.
Yeah, they love that shit.
I believe that's.
You got to realize, Kamar, if you're seeing 500 people, 490 of them are going to come in and just read the lines fairly bland, maybe very actory, but The one that catches your eye, like you said, is the guy who comes in and like trips, puts his shoes off.
Some sort of commitment
Yeah.
or effort.
Like there's famously, I don't know if you remember, in Reservoir Dogs, there's a scene where they're in the warehouse and the door like doesn't close properly and it swings back open. And Harvey Keitel, I guarantee you this wasn't in the script and it wasn't in the, what do they call it? Tracking? I can't remember. He goes and closes the door. Like, and I know that Quentin Tarantino left that in because he was like, he saw it on the
just
editing
doing it
floor.
as a-
He was just doing it as because that's what the character would do.
A normal, and that's what it looks like when a normal person does that.
Well,
action.
especially a criminal. It's like, yeah,
Not
so I would
acting.
walk over and I would close the thing, and that's a perfectly natural. Even though it's not in the script, Quentin Tarantino was. I guarantee you, he was like, leave that in. That's fucking perfect. I know.
Didn't they shoot a lot of that in like really long shots too? So maybe it was just like.
No, but I'm telling you, I guarantee you they did multiple takes where that door just closed perfectly. And Quentin Tarantino was like, no, leave the one where the door swings open. It's so real. Because it is a real moment. If the door swings open and you're in the middle of a fucking criminal conspiracy, someone's going to go shut the door.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you smiling about? What's wrong?
Just my fucking vape makes a lot of noise.
Yes, it does.
I didn't like Robin Williams till I saw him in Good Morning Vietnam.
I mean,
My
that's
parents used to
really-
make me perform Good Morning like I had if you bought the soundtrack, it had all of him on the radio, and I memorized it all when I was 6. And my parents, I performed it for everyone that came
You
over.
should relearn it.
Yeah, it would be it aged well for sure.
No, I think
You think 41-year-old me?
it's an homage. Well, he was 41 when he was in that movie, probably.
Yeah, that's true.
What
You-
movies of Robin Williams did you love? Like, think about it.
Good Will Hunting,
I mean, it's not a funny movie. He plays a really serious character.
Birdcage.
Toys.
I mean, watch it again. It ain't that great.
No, it's great.
Toys is fucking terrible.
I know.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Horrible.
Horrible.
The Fisher King.
But it's not a funny movie. It's a dramatic
just
movie.
a comedic.
A comedic
he's
role
in.
that he did that you think is terrific. There isn't one.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Good Will Hunting. He won the Oscar for it. Dead Poet Society.
Not a comedic
Dead
role.
Poet Society.
I don't understand what the point is.
The point is, besides Good Morning Vietnam, he has no funny movies.
Where someone like Steve Martin only did
Hilarious movies,
funny
like,
movies, but he also
is there
did.
anything he did that wasn't like even like his dumb movies, like the Bride one,
Father of the Bride.
is fucking hilarious.
Have you seen The Father Bride?
Yeah. Oh.
You've never seen Father of the Bride?
It's the JRE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon, 2 racks of brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JRE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to figure out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make, and how much it made at the box office. My favorite Steve Martin movie is Parenthood.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Fantastic movie.
What movie are we doing again? Father of the Bride?
Father Bride, which is
Father of the Bride.
Father of the Bride, which is based on a 1950 film.
The Jerk is his
It's a
best
cover.
movie, by
Jerk
the
is
way.
good. Oh, I really do love Steve Martin.
Well,
You're
just,
right.
Just before we start, I just want to give you a little.
Father Bride, starring Steve Martin, Diane Keaton. Don't do that. Kimberly Williams, Martin Short. Don't do that. Play the game.
Sorry.
Looks like you're looking it up.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry.
And we do everything by the book here. Thanks all for staying and tuning in this long. Join the Patreon. Got some crazy topics to talk about.
Simon, do you have a year yet?
No, I'm working on it.
And we're going to play a crazy game about who would you miss more.
Oh my God, this sounds morbid.
Okay, I got a year. If you want to start there,
All right, I said 96.
and I said 94.
1991.
Oh, real early,
Really?
really
Way
early.
back, yeah. You were just a small child watching it.
I was
Maybe
young.
on your mother's
God,
lap.
Okay, why don't you blow me? Okay, Simon, I'm ready. I mean, 91 should change things slightly, but I'm just going to leave it. Throw caution to the wind. Who gives a fuck?
Okay, I'm ready to.
All right, since I don't think I'm close, I said it cost 31 million and it made 139 million.
I said 10 million and it made 132.
Simon's just going to eke it out there, I guess. $20 million to make.
Well, why? We're both the same. What are you talking about? I was 31. Okay.
And $129 million at the box office.
Well, I said 139.
And he's just a bit closer. That's how it works.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. What was your budget? What was your budget?
I don't remember.
No, shut up. What was your budget?
My budget was 10 million.
Same as you. And then when
Fine.
it came
Yeah,
to he
I
was
give it to
three
him. I
close.
give it to him. I just fine.
Hundreds of
Thank you, Kumar. I mean, I wasn't going to make a big deal about it. It didn't really seem like there was a winner to me.
And that's how you play the freaking movie game. Now, the weirdest thing about this is when he reveals that his dad stole his identity, ran all this stuff. It was this crazy con character.
Hold on, just before we go on. So, Cheaper by the Dozen.
Are you going over Robin Williams movies?
No, Steve Martin movies. Three Amigos, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was incredible.
Yeah.
Then there's The Father of the Brides, The Little Shop of Horrors, more Pink Panthers, more Cheaper by the Dozens, Kamar's Parenthood, Roxanne, great movie, Bowfinger with Eddie Murphy,
yeah.
L.A. Story, that was a really good movie.
That's Woody Allen.
House Sitter with Goldie Hawn.
But we agreed with you. Are you just trying to rub it in our face how right you were?
No, I'm just telling you what a great fucking actor he is.
You know what's weird?
we
I just
agree
realized.
with you.
I just realized what he's doing. Steve Martin's still alive. Robin Williams is dead, and he's trying to shit on Robin Williams, saying that Steve
Hold
Martin
on,
is
you
a
want me to
much
tell
better.
you Robin Williams movies?
That's a bold
We'll
take.
see if there's anything good. Robin Williams.
Sorry, man. You made your point.
Yeah, the man's dead.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not like dancing on his grave.
Actually, that's exactly what this looks like. Short of you standing up and doing
I'm
a
just
jig.
trying to find
they
a
not
funny-
like us. They not like us.
Funny. Oh, Jumanji. That was a funny movie that he did, but he's not even like the main character.
He is totally the main character.
Is he?
Not really.
No, he's not. It's the
He's in the
it's
beginning and
four of
he's
them.
at the end.
Yeah, he's the guy who's trapped in the game.
He
the
comes
whole
out.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Robin Williams
he
is the
running
main
with the kid the
character.
whole time?
Yes.
Probably right.
RV.
But still,
Hook. He was good in Hook.
This is
I'll give you
pointless.
that. I'll give you that. He was really good in Hook. Flubber, terrible. Jack, terrible.
I don't like what we're doing here. The man's
I
dead.
do not know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
You made your point. We all agreed.
Yeah.
Toys.
And then
so
you-
bad.
He's being so aggressive.
He's a great. If you go through his dramatic movies, he has some really good roles. We'll give him that.
We gave all this.
Yeah, we've done this. You shot on him, and now you're trying
He's
to.
like,
Yeah.
dropping elbows.
Well, why don't you go on with your notes then, Kamar?
And that's the movie game.
We'll be right back.
I really like the idea of the Tibetan sky funeral with in regards of getting rid of your remains and whatnot.
So are you telling us that's how you want to go?
Well, no.
You think we're gonna deal with that?
You never
The
know.
two people that host a
You're going
podcast
to
with
fly
them?
to
No.
Nepal, and here's the deal. It isn't like a service that you like, they come pick you up. Like, you have to hump the person's body up this crazy hill
Yeah.
to this fencing area where all these buzzards are just.
I was thinking more like a modified version of the
If it ain't that,
Tibetan
if it ain't
ritual.
Tibet, it ain't Tibet.
We'll
No,
throw
you know
him
what?
in the back of the car. We'll drive him out to the country. Those buzzards come everywhere. Those turkey vultures.
No, Kamar's onto something though. You put it in your will that your worst enemy has to do it. Like it's a chore, right? So you don't want.
It is a chore.
Yeah, so you don't want to burden.
Dude, have you seen that episode of
And if you're a friend, you're like near someone's end of their death, you're like, don't eat so much.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Charlie finds out that his real dad is that Scottish guy or whatever?
No, I haven't seen
and
that
he has to hike. He dies, and they have to hike him up to the top of the mountain.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Fucking hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious.
Okay, you know what? You guys suck.
I'm having fun with you, bro.
No.
No, he says.
Wish there
No,
were
we are.
people we could bring in for these
No.
seats.
Are there any situations they were talking about, like when people are about to do something, say a fighter walking out to the ring, or even a comedian walking up the stage, just that sort of anxiety? I mean, you've done everything you can before, and then you're going to do everything you can when you get there. But have you ever had that?
Yeah, when I used to do the our oratoires,
I
public
remember them, yeah.
speaking in grade school.
Yeah.
What about your bar mitzvah?
I did a very modified version of a bar mitzvah where you do it on a Thursday morning and it's in front of 7 people.
Nice.
Because your Hebrew was so bad.
Yeah, I didn't learn it.
You just said it in English.
I only
I
had- I
promise
had
to
to-
be Jewy. I will not tip or be nice.
It's the out. It's like you can be bar mitzvahed, but you only have to read like one passage on a Thursday morning. And then we just had a party.
And someone said Molotov.
Money, 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 money.
I didn't get any money.
Money.
My parents took the money from my bar mitzvah to pay for the party.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so Jewy.
Yeah. You know who they didn't do that with?
Max.
Yeah.
See the beef? You see this?
You know where my party was? At our
Chuck E.
house.
Cheese?
No.
Oh, the
You know where
Resents.
his party was?
The Royal
Ritz
Ottawa.
Carlton
The Ritz
in
Carlton.
Montreal.
He is a beautiful kid.
God, you hate him.
Yeah, I hate them all. No, I don't. I only have so many summers left. So
Yeah, you can't.
I
be-
love them all.
As
Time
if
to
you're
bury the
dwelling on
hatchet
this
in
with
the
like
back of
20
his head.
summers left. Yeah.
Yeah. 35, Matt.
Sorry, yeah.
We settled on 35.
My bad. Just saying worst case.
I don't know
right?
if you guys noticed, but
That's worst case. That's best case, probably 35.
this podcast came out on Wednesday,
Yeah.
and they talked for 2 hours
2 hours. Yeah.
for Joe off the hands today. And what about that assassination attempt?
Oh, he had been assassinated when this one came out?
Yes, and
No, Trump has not been assassinated.
assassinated attempt, Simon,
Allegedly.
allegedly. Some say he was on a motorcycle and just got.
Just drove away.
But I mean, I cannot, unlike you who had to get it off the top of the show last week, but I mean, it just happened. This must have happened on Monday. And I could not believe they talked for 2 hours about this, that, and the other. And then
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, even we opened with
Yeah,
it.
how is that not the
Like,
first thing?
I'm not
we
even
talked
American.
about?
they don't really care.
Yeah, no,
or
that
developing
that
news.
is kind of crazy. But I know you guys don't like most of my takes, but the take I gave last week about him maybe having the razor blade, knowing a trick or two from the WWE, I don't think that's the worst take in the world. Listen, you all laughed at me when I said Biden will be taken out and Mike will be put in, and like we're right there. We're right.
Just because
on
you
the
sent us a
precipice
black
of-
penis doesn't mean we're on the precipice of this.
No. We are very close to that. I told you that for sure they would besmirch Biden. They could not let him go.
You did say that.
That's exactly what's happening now. Them letting him do that debate, even though they didn't have to, they could have hit him right until the end of the election, and he'll probably would have won.
There's something wrong with the parroted talking points.
Oh, you're saying that to me?
No.
You are the parrot of all parrots.
No.
You're like a ventriloquist
I
dummy
swear to God,
for
2
fucking.
weeks ago,
Are you going to take that from him? He comes in here and regurgitates so much shit you say, and he's calling you a parrot.
I know, but I know Simon. He'll realize 3 months from now.
Maybe if Kamar
not enough
was,
summers left, right,
was
Kamar?
more, what's the word? Where you can clearly explain something so other people can understand it.
I'll take that blame.
Maybe if that was the case, I would be able to absorb more things that he says.
No. It's because you.
But he mumbles through life.
No, Simon. I was in a gutter. You pulled me out.
I did pull him out of the gutter.
Ever since a moment, you've always thought you knew better than me because you're
Oh
like,
no, I
if you're
for
in a-
sure
if
know
you're-
better than you.
Dude, this is great.
There's no fucking doubt about it.
We're like a human centipede. You pulled him out of the gutter, and I just pulled you out of the gutter. This is
How
incredible.
did you pull me out of the gutter?
I brought you to Blues Fest. I got you on Summers. And I totally
That's not
changed your
really
life.
pulling me
Oh
out
my
of the
Yeah.
God! I was
They're
going to
not-
save this.
They're not quite the same.
I was going to
It
save
is.
this for
It's
the
not
post
quite
show.
the same thing. You offered
do
good
this.
advice. I legitimately, like, he was in a gutter, wet and cold, and I pulled him out.
So he must always know better for. But yeah, I was going to save this for post show. But you had an awakening. It's so funny. Sitting here and being condemned for going to these music festivals and like why your age and all this stuff for the man who knows better than me clearly has stated.
Kamar, I'm not going to go to a bunch of music festivals.
I have a theory though.
Simon liked it for a different reason than you.
A way different reason than you.
Yeah.
The fresh air.
I went for the music.
I know. And so what I was saying, you would have had such a great time at Offspring because this is my theory. One thing, when everyone knows the song, there's a connection of consciousness and everyone sort of gets zoned in. But I think if you hear a song really loud that you know, it can honestly like stimulate those memory banks of that time where you were just for a temporary moment. Like in a way I cannot describe. My favorite artist right now, I think, is Diplo. because he's been around forever. And I just watched him do a show in Rio de Janeiro for like 900,000 people 3 weeks ago. And he'll play crazy techno and Queen and Cyndi Lauper. Like, he's so good at it. And I was just watching this, and it was I felt like I was on drugs.
You should go back and listen to his first album, Florida.
I will.
It's such a weird.
He's so
different.
He's such an interesting artist. Have you ever heard all his major laser stuff?
Yeah, of course.
His stuff he's done with Justin Bieber. He's such an artist who's still on the everything he makes is cool. You know, there's some artists like their first album was good and stuff like this.
Simon's disgusted by your youngness right now, by your attempt to be young.
No, live every day like it's your
But
last.
back to I was saying, no,
the
all
power
this was going to be in the post show, but this is just a taste, people. But you would have loved Offspring.
Yeah, I would have rather. I mean, I knew a couple of Nas songs, but going to that show, I realized how few Nas songs I knew.
He edited the fucking set. I hated it.
It was
You
weird.
hated it.
It was weird, but there's still
Listen,
bangers.
I'll give 50 credit. 50 came out like it was 2001. He had strippers. He didn't give a fuck. He got a lap dance mid-show. He didn't edit his shit at all. I heard him say the word faggot. I mentioned that last week. Like, he was like, I'm doing my album the way I did it. Nothing has changed. I'm the same dude. Nas, like, I know a lot of the lyrics from Illmatic.
And he
And
changed the lyrics.
yeah, Murder was taken out. N-bombs were taken out.
Yes.
No,
What's the
really?
one?
Yeah, dude, there was a lot of shit where I was like, there's no fucking way that, I mean, I don't
What's
mean,
a slave to the page in my rhyme book?
yeah,
He totally
you a slave to a page in my rhyme book. Yeah.
edited that one too.
Dude, I noticed it on at least 10
That's
songs,
terrible.
Simon, where I was,
That's
that
terrible.
doesn't bother me.
That totally bothers me.
that really bothers me. This is the watered down TikTok world we live in where like you
You
can't,
do that on radio because it's free for everybody to listen to, so you can't stop it. But if you're paying to go see somebody, they shouldn't be censoring their music.
dude, it's
Do
insane.
you get what I'm saying?
You wrote the fucking lyrics meaningfully.
No, but you understand
Yes,
why
I do.
radio versions exist. is what
Sure,
I'm
I
asking.
guess. I mean, yeah.
Well, it's because any Tom, Dick, and Harry can turn on that radio.
Yeah, well, still, we're supposed to live in a world of free speech, so you can also turn off that radio if you hear something you don't like.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I get why there's radio versions of things. I don't understand why you would take out a word.
I think he thought the sensibilities of a white city like Ottawa might be offended.
Oh, that's even worse.
But yeah, that is disappointing. I enjoyed it, and so did Simon, even though he didn't know how.
Not saying I didn't enjoy it. Listen, I love Nas. It was one of those things that hit me where I was like, I don't understand this choice. This is rap music. Like,
My legs were getting really tired, and that's how I know it's not like my favorite show. Because if you're
really?
like,
No, that's age. I'm telling you.
really great, you wouldn't even notice your sore legs.
The next day or
at the show.
Well, it's because you went to the thing, just stood there, like I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't creep like you do, but yeah, I was there just bobbing to the music.
Simon, you're almost 50.
Can you?
It has nothing to do with how
I don't
much you
feel
love
50.
the music. It doesn't. Yeah, in your
I
head
feel
you don't.
like I'm
No,
25.
you aren't.
I'm still doing the same
have
stuff.
Have you gone that woman's that I told she was missing the sunset to? You still see her in your head, don't
And
you?
this is why I can't
know, I
understand
didn't
a
understand
goddamn word he says. And then he gets angry at me because I tell him the same story the next week. But you mumbled your way through that. You mumble your way through life, man.
You know what's great is he mumbles through that
Fucking
sentence. He
scoreboard.
mumbles through that sentence, and then he throws 5 gummy
12
bears.
zin in
He's
his
got
mouth.
2 zins in his
Jesus
bottom lip.
Christ.
Yeah, and he's like,
Can you fit any more in
If
your mouth?
I ever get an audition, that's what I'm going to do.
Pop
Do the
5
line,
zins.
and then if they say do it differently,
Yeah,
pops
just-
out of mouth, and just like grapes.
You know
Just-
when you go to the dentist and they freeze you up to do like some sort of operation or
yeah,
whatever, and then at
absolutely.
the end they're just pulling out all this gauze that you didn't know was in there? That's this fucking guy.
for some reason,
And then he did this comedian laugh, which I know is his fake laugh.
I've got a couple of them. So, is it me or does it feel
It's
like
you.
the Russians have sort of slowed down on their disinformation?
how so?
It used to be the media. Oh, this is Russian disinformation. This is Russian disinformation. But
I see what you're saying.
They don't seem to be doing it
I don't
anymore
think
right
we
now.
ever actually knew what was Russian disinformation.
But if I heard Russian disinformation for years and years and years, and then Russia invaded another country, and then I was asked to think who I thought was a bad person, I'd assume it's the Russians because there hasn't been any Ukrainian disinformation come my way. It might have been just a, what do we call it, propaganda tactic. Right out in the open.
Well, I assume there's still a ton of Russian disinformation online. Like
You're
that's
gonna
where.
have to translate that. I'm not sure I understand.
But
your
people
point.
aren't claiming it. I don't know.
No, I get it, but like
It's
you
an
know,
observation.
remember what's her name? Duresto came on and was like, it's all Russian bot farms. Like it's more the comment sections in places that are trying to rile people up. It's like you think that people are like you think that RT is putting out news and we're
And
like,
we never. My first point holds true. Is we never knew. It's not like the Russians were taking credit for their misinformation.
yeah, hey, remember that Hillary story last week?
That's
that was us. Got you, bitch.
Well, I'm hearing from you. You disagree, and that's great. I like to be wrong.
No, you don't. You actually hate being wrong, and
I
you won't
don't-
admit to being wrong.
I do like being
when
wrong
you're right,
because
you
when I'm
parrot it.
wrong, I learn. Those keys are ridiculous. That's all I have to say. I really like Chad Daniels. I feel like when he wasn't a comedian, he had a set of keys like that. He looks like a janitor, sort of. He's on Bert's tour.
Janitor, sort of.
His specials just came out on Netflix, I believe, and he didn't promote it. So
When you
Are we gonna
own
watch-
things,
hey, are we gonna
you
watch-
End up with keys.
Are we going to watch
3.5.
Joe's live special together?
Jay Moore won't.
Jay Moore won't.
Yeah,
Rate
he,
it.
He went hard in the paint, Jay Moore on Rogan.
I'll
he
give
was
it a.
funny.
Because his wife's a billionaire.
Yeah,
He
he
can throw it
doesn't give a
around.
fuck. He doesn't need Rogan.
He doesn't give a fuck. And
He
these are the best
doesn't need
people.
Rogan. He could open his own mothership.
Look at me, two. Two for Matt. Two.
2 is the real score. Live every day like your last. 4.7.
See, the problem with Simon Changes is like he does this drastic change for like a week and a half and he becomes a new guy and it's kind of irritating, but you're in.
No, trust me. Trust me. The world will pull me back down into
Yeah,
its
I know.
muck.
I know.
But right now, I got my head above
So with only 20 summers left, does that mean you're going to get on a plane?
35. I thought we. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Oh, yeah, you got to fly.
Because, right,
I
you
think
want
I
to
have
open
to
up the
go-
world, right?
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't have any money, so I can't fly anywhere anyways.
'Cause
That
you know-
takes that right off the table.
You know what I think would be a good start? Like nice 2.5 hour flight, nothing crazy, right? Not over ocean, very comfortable, somewhere you might enjoy. We could just like go to Vegas in September, October,
Just a quick little jaunt down to Vegas.
right?
Like I said.
Just get you comfortable with flying. Nice 2 hour flight. We Adderall the shit out of you, or whatever it is, Xanax, whatever it is to put you out on the plane. You do a few rum and coke, Ryan
I
Gingers.
always envied B.A. Baracus from the A team.
For what reason?
Well, he didn't like to fly.
But he flew.
And his friends would like knock him out,
Yeah.
put him inside a fucking
barrel or something,
and
yeah.
ship him off to wherever. He'd wake up in Guatemala and be ready to.
I mean, if
perform
you're
the mission.
comfortable with that, we can arrange that.
That would be funny, eh?
Just barrel you up,
Just
yeah.
doing my thing. Next thing I know, there's like a dart in my neck.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, we're going somewhere, and then I just pass out.
I'm going to give you a second opportunity to give your wife a shout out.
Are you saying for her birthday?
Well, I thought it was your anniversary that just passed.
Oh, it was my anniversary that just passed. Didn't we already talk about this? 22 years.
Oh, we did talk. Then yeah, her birthday. That's what
Her
I meant,
birthday's
yeah.
not for another.
I'd be very concerned about a guy who knew all this stuff about my wife.
I got to be honest. I thought this weekend was his anniversary, and that's why they were away.
No,
so
no,
I
no.
just thought anyone that could spend 22 years with Simon should get a fucking shout out.
Oh, wow.
Shots fired.
So funny.
Get rid of some keys, buddy. Get the pile
You're definitely in competition for funniest guy in Ottawa. You better watch your trophy there, fella. This guy's hot on your heels.
up for grabs
with
right
his
now.
Fucking one-liners.
Kamar, name and a number.
Contest.
That would be the ultimate, Matt. If you just went in cold, won the tournament,
But
just to rub it in his face.
But we tried that, and Matt did poorly.
I know, but that
Oh, yeah, I
wasn't.
thought you did great,
that
man.
wasn't for the trophy.
don't do
For
that.
your first time, you did better than someone.
Again, the owner of the club was like terrible, awful, everything about you
It was
I
your
hate.
first time. I wish you just said you're the best. I think you.
No,
could
no,
be rich and
I
famous,
don't need.
and you'd be stuck.
I
in
don't
it.
need you're the best.
Where you went wrong,
Yeah.
was you should have let me collaborate on some jokes with you, the way Kamar does.
2178.
Let me-
Sam Morrell. Speaking of jokes,
Sure, if you don't dip some Jew in the paint, it's really
what
just.
what do they call that when other comedians go through and
Punching
they
it up.
They should have let me punch it up.
Yeah.
always and forever. If you build it, they will come. The way Joe talks about the success of his comedy club,
I know. Real grassroots thing we built here.
like if you have the biggest platform in the world,
Yeah,
had you open an Arby's
Listen,
or anything, it'd be huge.
my new thing is not like I only have so many summers left, so I don't want to spend them all trashing Joe Rogan. But this guy is so disconnected from reality.
Yeah.
Like he talks like he's like a struggling comedian and he decided to put all his money into this business that may or may not have succeeded.
And you get paid
Like, are you
$500 for a
fucking
heckle line.
Are you kidding me?
$500 for a heckle line.
Are you kidding me?
The problem is that week in and week out, people are coming in and stroking his ego about it because I assume it is a great place. Listen, when you have unlimited money and you've been in the game for as long as him and you have the best comedians at your disposal, well, you should build the best place, right?
You know what's really funny to me is that he can like put himself in like the top 10 comedians and nobody will argue with him, but he's probably like a lot lower down than that, you know?
He puts himself in the top 10 comedians?
I bet he does. I don't know that for a fact, but I bet when Joe Rogan thinks about like the top 10 comedians today,
Well, in notoriety,
He thinks
he's
he's up
definitely
there.
one of the top 10 comedians, if not top 5.
for sure in notoriety, but then Bert's up there too, you know? It doesn't make him the best comedian in the world.
But the biggest thing is I wonder, like, why some people resonate and are talked about. I guess they're faded away. But say Richard Jennings was so amazing, but he's never in a. Well, Joe gives him his
He's
flowers.
the only person I ever hear talking about Richard Jennings.
But he's one of the best there ever was. Like I loved Richard Jennings. Patrice.
Well, they were just before.
talk about
They
Patrice
still hold
all
on for
the
Patrice.
time.
Geraldo.
Yeah,
I still think Elephant in the Room is like top.
All these
3
guys
of
are
all
better
time.
comedians than Joe.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But they died young, and then you don't
But Mitch Hedberg is gonna
died young.
to be considered one of the best or one of the greats. I don't know. I don't know if it makes a difference.
I just think that like people die and then you forget about them. You know,
Because
that's just
let's
how
look
it
at
works.
Sam Kinison is iconic, but then
Look, we all know
he
it's,
died. He wasn't being funny
it's
anymore.
specials. It's stuff on tape. You have to have enough stuff on tape for us to go back and go, that's really what it boils down to, doesn't it?
You can't just put one special against everyone.
No, because like I said,
Or what any comedian take their best special.
well, here, I still put Patrice in the top 10 comedians of all time. And he only has one special.
Like Jimi Hendrix is one of the best guitarists of all time. He died.
But I mean, Eddie Murphy's a perfect example.
He's up there.
Like
He's gotta be up there.
Delirious, one
Yeah.
of the best specials of all time. He only did 2 specials. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I
he's
still
in
put
that
him in the top
conversation.
10 of all time,
This,
yeah.
this is what I'm saying. So
But hold
it doesn't
on.
matter how many
But hold on,
specials
hold on.
you
Yes, it
put
does, though.
out.
Hold on.
It's, it's how good
Stop.
your best special
There's a
is.
difference with
That's what I
stop.
think. Yeah.
Eddie Murphy though had a prolific career. He was on Saturday Night Live when he was
Agreed.
19. He was Axel Foley. Like it's tough to Eddie Murphy. You also revere for other reasons. If Eddie Murphy had just done Raw and Delirious and then never done anything again, I'm not certain. I mean, I'm still sure we would sit here and say probably 2 of the best specials ever. But don't forget, those aren't seen or available anywhere because they're super canceled.
I think you have to take the best special the comedian has ever done, paired with how good an interview he is. Because, like, take a guy like
I disagree
Shane.
with that, but okay.
Take a guy like Shane.
Yeah.
Even if his special was no good, he's so funny in an interview. He's still one of the funniest guys out there.
He's what the pendulum looks like.
Like a perfect example of that is who's the guy with the fucked up nose? Artie Lang. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what his specials are like, but he's such a funny fucking hang that
Yeah, but we're talking about stand-up comedy, and this is where the hang. Like, I know a lot of people that are funny people to hang out with, that are really funny people. Comedy's a different thing. Writing jokes is a totally different thing. He'll tell you.
I said it's a combination of the two. You can't
But
you can't just put
your
out a
original
great
statement was whoever has the most stuff on tape, that's
Yeah,
how we think
that.
you're the best.
Well, I think it's
And
the
that-
easiest that, like, if you looked at Louis' body of work, it's easy to put him in the top 10.
I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to say which is their best special. They would have their own opinion if they're alive. If they're dead, then only we can say because Dave Attell's in the conversation.
Like Chappelle. Chappelle's a good example of, like, probably only knocks
Bernie
it out of the
Mac.
park. I mean, again, Bernie.
Martin Lawrence in his heyday.
See,
Joe's favorite, Damon Wayans.
The advantage that I find the black comedians have is that there's a lot of like King of Comedy specials where like there's 15 minutes of them available on like a big platform. Does that make sense? Like they're on a stage with a lot of people, but they're not doing an hour. It's just like a tight 15. Cat Williams, again, like he has a lot of good specials where.
So you think a tight 15 is just a different category?
No, I still think like my point is if we, the public, if I can go on YouTube right now and find 15 videos of you doing a different tight 15, that's almost like a special to me.
you have all these instead of seeing the same joke killing all the time.
Like my point is, Patrice, if you didn't have Opie and Anthony, which goes back to Simon's conversational stuff, if you didn't have Opie and Anthony, you would just have Elephant in the Room. Other than that, there's like a few small clips of like handy
That's
cam
one of the
stuff.
funniest specials of all time.
I agree. Listen, I agree with you. I'm saying Elephant in the Room. If he had just done that and died the next day, and no one knew him before or after, I still agree with you. It stands the test of time. The problem is, I tell a lot of people, I'm like, you have to go watch Elephant in the Room. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen, and they come back and they're like, it was okay.
Or
Which
you
I
got to
find
see Hannah Gatsby. But when you first saw Delirious,
Yeah.
did you in your head think, oh, this guy's been doing this for 100 nights in a row and now he's taping this one?
No,
You just thought he just sat
But I
in the
was
back
too
of the
young.
room, was funny.
I was too
came out.
young to even think of
That's
this.
what I was saying.
So was I, absolutely.
No, Kumar, when I was young, I didn't even think they wrote. I thought it was just Eddie
He's
Murphy
that
coming
funny
out on
person,
stage in
exactly.
leather, just being himself. Yeah.
I knew he had bits, but the whole thing was like I didn't even know Eddie Murphy at that age. Didn't even know he was a comedian. I knew him from Saturday Night Live.
Fair enough,
And
yeah.
then you go and you watch this thing, you're like, oh my god, he's even funnier.
Yeah.
It's a great
that
introduction.
seemed so radical at the time. The bits he was doing, the fucking the shoe bit with the mom is so funny.
You missed me, bitch.
Yeah.
Which
And then she's on the phone and she's got the high heels on. It's like a boomerang. Ooh, ooh.
I always think that's Chappelle who does that.
I still think his Rocky bit is one of my favorite fucking bits of all time.
The Ed Norton and that's fucking hilarious.
That's a good opener. That would kill today.
That was his opening bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Hard parents. You should be more successful. They were talking about how dads treating their kids like shit makes them rise above. Andre Agassi was example. I guess Ted Kaczynski was.
Dude, that Andre Agassi, I was a huge tennis player as a kid. And Andre Agassi was my favorite tennis player
Yeah.
for a while. And I went to this tennis camp.
Yeah.
And it had an association with Bollettieri, who was Agassi's coach as a kid. And
Okay.
Agassi came and played like as a really young man at this camp function thing. And then to find out that he was winning all of that shit
High on meth.
while being high on meth and knowing, like I can't, still to this day, I can't
Bobby
imagine.
pins.
Yeah, to make sure that his hair wasn't falling out. Dude, the whole thing is so fucking bonkers.
Was this the same story you were talking about? The Sam Morril and Joe Scher?
No.
I don't know if you've ever heard the Boris Becker thing.
Which one?
Boris Becker used to, I guess he had a tell when he was serving.
Yes, I know
Where
this,
when
yeah.
he would go cross court, he would put his tongue in, and Agassi
picked up on it.
figured out his tell, and that's just why he like owned him on the service. And Becker would go back to his wife at night and be like, this guy's in my head. He knows moves I'm going to do before I do them. And finally, years after they both retired, Agassi told him about the tell.
It's got to be so frustrating.
It must have
really?
been
I was just sticking my
insane.
tongue out.
Yeah.
I think
Pardon me.
I only like tennis when they wear whites. Like Wimbledon.
Why?
I don't know why, but the other day I was trying to watch
So weird.
a tournament in Germany and it was on clay.
Yeah.
And the guys were wearing the exact same clothes.
Yeah, that's weird when they're both sponsored by Nike.
Like the exact same purple hat, shoe, and
Yeah,
purple
yeah.
shorts.
It's just a terrible decision.
and you're like, am I watching a simulation?
Yeah.
Like I just like the white. It seems like it's proper, but
it's just they've taken the side of the tennis court, lifted it up like the ping pong table, and he's just hitting the ball
Yeah.
back to himself.
I'm a purist.
Would you rather watch clay or grass?
I'd rather watch clay. Clay's the best.
I agree.
And they have it mic'd up with
Clay's the best to play. Clay's the best to watch. Clay.
It's so weird. I never thought about it till they mentioned in antibiotics just kill biotics.
Oh, yeah.
So if you it's
Antibiotics.
So if you take it, your stomach's all
That's why
your
you're
gut
supposed to take a
bio.
probiotic after, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
and that's they said. Gordon, Ryan, or whatever they were all afraid of staph, so they just pop an anti, and now they can't eat
Well,
anything.
it's amazing how many words there are out there. Like Remember triangles?
Three
Three
angles.
angles. I mean, I only learned that halfway through last year.
That was just a cool name.
No, but I assume a lot of things are like that, right? And you just don't even think about them until.
I remember when I remember when deja vu hit me. I was like, I know French. Oh my god, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. There's a lot of French words that we use.
Croissant.
You're a fucking idiot.
Fucking dork.
So 34,000.
What's another French word we use?
Rendezvous.
Rendezvous.
Rendezvous. There you go.
Good one.
You're welcome. $34,000 is the top 1%. If you make that, you're very rich. That's $46,000 Canadian, if anyone wants to do the math. I feel like Shane is the pendulum. I mean, snap back 4 years ago, all this woke, and now the biggest guy is a retarded looking football jock. I mean, he says it's part of his jokes. He just dodged the.
Dude, Laura Michaels, they would have had the best Trump for like the entirety of it.
Still now.
Yeah, they're so stupid. Saturday Night Live is so fucking stupid.
Really missed out.
It was just the temperature at the time.
That's it, Kamar. That's all you
No,
got?
all the data that our phones and everything know about it, I just wish we could get at. I forgot to mention the Chad Daniels one. They were talking about if you were to die right before you die, you get an hour, some period in time.
This is the Chad Daniels one, isn't it?
No.
No, we moved on. Sam Morril.
And I digress. There's also the funniest joke that Chad Daniels told about the guy that no one ever knew. When he calls into work and says, I'm sick, I can't come in. And his boss goes, well, how sick are you? He goes, well, I'm fucking my sister.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick, buddy.
That's hilarious.
Maybe it was the Rodney story he told.
Yeah. It was the Rodney story he told before. And then Joe told him the fuck story
That he
Joe
saw him at the Performing Arts Theater.
I mean, Joe tells the same story
Yeah. It's fine. We're all guilty of it. He's getting old.
3 times an episode.
All right, take it easy.
The double standard of
We'll be
like,
right back.
being an ally. I don't want to get into it. What is hate speech?
Well, in the U.S., it doesn't exist.
But do you think we now have a better idea? It's still such a stupid, vague term, right?
No, I'll say it again. In the U.S., it does not exist.
I know, but if I ask you, it's the same way I say, what did Donald Trump do that he got convicted for? You can't tell me. If I ask you what's hate speech, you still can't tell me.
That's because it does not exist.
Agreed. They talked about Jack Black. Did you listen to Tinfoil Hat about Nepo babies?
Nepo babies.
No, I don't think I did.
Jack Black's mom invented the interconnect
I knew that. Yeah.
missile that
No
Annie
way.
was talking about.
No way.
Yes, way.
His partner just got in trouble, eh?
For
The
being
Tenacious
insensitive.
D guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird when you find out how many famous people come from like military families or, I mean, really influential families makes more sense.
The point of
because
the
they
episode
have
was
the money, but you would think that like a general.
when you go to Hollywood to chase your dreams, just realize you're not competing with every person who has a dream. You're also competing with everyone who has a dream and crazy hookups.
I mean, that's probably more than just Hollywood, my friend. I bet that's how most of employment works.
Yep.
If you want a good job somewhere, gotta know somebody who knows somebody.
They
It
talked-
also, no, I was just going to say it also might have something to do with traveling around. A lot of military families travel around. Just you end up in a lot of places. You meet a lot of people.
so you have a lot of experience, and that makes
Yeah, and then you don't have a lot of friends. So you're kind of
you gotta be resourceful and cool. That's interesting.
Interesting.
That'd be a
I'm
good-
just saying, if you're trying to
it's
play
like
the other side
it's
of it,
the-
like
yeah, X-Files.
Or
There's
it
a
could,
completely
or it
rational
could be that like the CIA just uses its
Explanation.
own
Yeah, it could.
people as
Listen.
filtering services to make sure that they're always on top of the next big thing.
Sam Morril doesn't drive, or he's a horrible driver. He says he has a license. Obviously, when you live in New York City, you don't really have to drive. Then they were having some fun reflections on Norm Macdonald.
that was it. That was the story Joe told again.
But
Norm and the
cigarette
cigarettes.
story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harlan Williams was on Grade Fitzsimmons, and it's his most I've ever heard him not fucking around.
Really?
And it's an interesting, but he tells a story about how Norm wouldn't drive, and that Norm would ask people to come over his house and write jokes. And when they show up, he goes, "Actually, I got to audition across the way." And he was notorious for doing it.
That's fucking
great.
hilarious.
That's great.
It is. Phil Hartman is Canadian. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
That's another reason to be proud to be
I
Canadian.
didn't know that.
The football, the Jets. It's crazy that the baseball players were going to war mid-season. I think we'd all
Yeah.
be better off had we all served. It
Probably.
was some sort of mandatory thing when you're young. You just got to go up and you make whatever your $20,000 bankable tax-free interest so you can go on and live your life. But you have a bit of hardship. You travel somewhere, you do something.
Yeah, I like South Korea where it's like you got to do a year of.
It
I think
feels,
Israel
it
does the
feels like
same.
it was short-sighted to try to move forward and say, we don't need everyone to do it, only if you want to do it. I think it's really, especially when you're young enough that it's not.
You think
The
it
problem
should be
is-
the way Israel does it, where every
Israel
single
does it.
person
Well,
has to
North Korea
serve?
does it, or
South
South
Korea.
Korea. It's not just Israel.
You want to
but-
hear something crazy? I just found this out this week.
Go on.
So in Israel,
Yeah.
the way that everybody has to join the military,
Yeah.
but
They just come
the
in the night and get you.
Lubavitchers, which were the like really religious sect of Jews who have like the pious and the whole thing, they made this rule with Israel that if you were like a young man who was studying this Lubavitcher or whatever, that was your way out of
Oh, so it's a nice loophole.
the army. And at the time that they okayed it, there was like 19 Lubavitcher. It was a really small number. Today there's like 50,000 of them, all with this get out. And now they're making them go fight.
That's insane.
Just they've changed the
Here, guys would say they were gay.
yeah. They'd also shoot their not here in the States. We didn't have conscription.
A draft?
We didn't have a draft.
I don't think we did.
No, we didn't.
Okay, I'm.
Whoa, Simon is very right today.
And the Americans would like shoot their pinky toes off or whatever, anything to become, because you couldn't get into the army if you were missing a toe,
It's a good out too.
Or they run here.
or
as a
they
draft
or
dodger.
they'd run here. I know a couple of draft dodgers actually. I'm being serious.
Conscription into the full-time military service has only been instituted twice by the government of Canada during both wars. So that's not true, Simon.
Well, there you go. We did have the draft.
Wouldn't all our when was that war?
World War I and II.
You see, my grandfather willingly went into the war. It
That too,
wasn't
yeah.
about being conscripted. So
Well,
Yeah, well, he was one of those dudes.
no,
hard
I'm,
man.
I'm just saying most people probably did do that in
finally,
Canada because we're so brave.
there was just too much news. We're too much stuff. Because I was thinking about it. I hate to do this, but it's the only
I hate to do
reference
this, but I'm
point I
going
can
to.
have.
Yeah.
But when I lived in Australia, there was no I knew nothing about what was going on in Canada.
Yeah, wasn't life way better?
When I lived in Australia.
But I wonder if you live in Australia now, you still don't know anything about, like, we sit here and we watch this news and think about other countries. We don't think about Australia, but we're constantly wondering about Russia and China and Ukraine and the Middle East. Then there's other places where stuff's happening. How are the powers that be are making our focus on whatever we focus on.
Yeah.
When you're living every day like it's your last, you don't have time to think about what the fuck's going on in Russia. You got to concentrate on what's in front of you. And as a guy who follows that tenet, I would advise that you take a hard look at what you're up to. Just focusing so much ill feelings towards something you have no control over.
Yeah. Yeah, Kamar.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, but just they're saying. I was talking to a friend who I
Such an asshole.
in the conversation, I realized that he used to be my Alex Jones or whatever.
Yeah.
He'd be sort of on
You're
the stuff.
talking about Costa?
No.
Oh.
No. But I can almost remember a time when I didn't understand it. But I was a grown up. but I just could not care. Like around 26, 27, I remember people telling me about politics or presidents and just not giving
Yeah, I remember that.
just not whatever, buddy. Like I don't understand that stuff. And it wasn't ignorance. It just wasn't in my face. So unless someone brought it up to me, I wouldn't be aware of it as it is now. Like I'm really considering. They've talked about a couple people with the flip phone.
You're going back to it?
Well, I think my condition or whatever's wrong with me, I'm not served by this much access. Like even just a TV or whatever is enough. It's really too much for me to like. I can't think about one thing. I may be a victim of
Oh, I'd love to see how long this meditation
too much
trend
information.
lasts.
No, not meditation. I could still watch YouTube or whatever, but just having it all the time is I don't see how it's benefiting me. In my naivety, I would say, oh, well, as a comedian, I need access to everything that's going on, but I don't feel it's churning it out as much as the muse serves me.
He just used the word muse in reference to himself. I find that so adorable.
What a guy.
I'm your muse.
Anyways, you love Sam Morrill's one of our favorite Jewish comedians, and
Ooh, I do not like the way you said that.
I know, and he has a new.
He's one of our favorite comedians.
He made lots of jokes about it, and he put.
Did you watch his new special?
I did.
Was it good?
It's great.
His last special was incredible.
It's great. No, this special's great too.
Both him and Joe List have been killing it.
Yeah, man. I give this a 3 because there's no cancel culture or too much pandemic talk.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. There was some repeat shit, but whatever.
Legitimate 2.5. Live every day like it's your last 4.8.
What an idiot. All right, we're going to take a break. We might pay a bill. We'll be right back. We're back. Thank time.
We're back in time.
You just love interrupting me today, huh? I'm going to start doing this to you, and we're going to see how quickly the things fucking change.
Back in time.
Thanks to BetterHelp, I guess. I can clearly use them right now. Come on, name and a number.
2177, Chris Robinson.
To BetterHelp.
Lead singer of the Black Crows, which I guess is just after Matt's time.
Hey,
What the
little
fuck
thing,
are
let
you-
me let your
Chemicals are show my- Can you name another song? Wait, Kamar, can you name another Black Crow song?
Yeah, Remedy.
No, I can't name any, but you know what I
Speaks to
can name
Angels.
a lot of? Counting Crows songs.
Twice as hard.
It's not a flex. They're like the worst band of all time.
So these are the bands that came out at the same time as the Counting Crows.
Been a long December and there's reason to believe.
That's Counting Crows. You got me right away. You got me right away.
Be
These are
better
the
than the
these are the
last.
Black Crows.
You know what's funny? When someone else sings, he gets this stink puss on and he's like, move it on. Why are we doing this? Why are you singing? Why are you alive? Why are you a person?
That's not at all.
Totally true.
That's not
Totally
what all that
true.
happens. Every
Totally
time you
true.
sing, I say, look, he loves to sing.
Yeah, I do love
I
when
do
you
want
sing.
to-
I think
want
Rick
nothing
Rubin.
more
I
for
think Rick
you
Rubin doesn't like someone in this band.
Than to be a
Well, no,
successful singer.
So here's the bands that came out at the same time. Nirvana, REM. Well, they were out, but they did
R.E.M.
Losing My
stinks.
Religion. They're awesome.
No,
So
REM
Automatic
stinks.
for the People. That's the album.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
believe.
U2, Achtung Baby was stupid. Metallica and Red Hot Chili Peppers. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic, which apparently is super involved in some occult fucked up shit. But when these guys came out,
Anthony Kiedis' girlfriend right now is like 19 years old.
Did you know that Flea? You know Flea.
Yeah, I'm aware of him. Yeah,
He was one of the.
you're gonna say his dad was on the Apollo flight or something.
No, I was going to say he was in The Outsiders. He played. Who are the bad guys? It was the. Oh my God.
He was also in Point Break. No, sorry, that was Anthony Kiedis. Flea was in the movie. Flea and Anthony Kiedis were in a Charlie Sheen movie that was like he was being chased on the highway for the whole film.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
Yeah.
He was the bad guy.
Yeah, they were like vigilantes. What are you looking up right now that Kamar's waiting for?
I'm looking up the name of the
This is wonderful.
bad guys in The Outsiders.
well, while you do that, Chris Robinson, lead singer of the Black Crows. I remember when these guys came out, I hated them.
They're not very good.
Well, that's debatable. They had a #1 album. I mean,
And then he married
their
Kate
songs.
Hudson.
And everything changed because for me, I was 15 years old They were just dirty hippies. They were not
He
matching.
still is.
No, but I'm just thinking about how impressionable I was and couldn't hear the songs because I saw the image. They'd wear like John Lennon glasses and long hair and like, feminine clothes, or not even feminine, but I just hated their aesthetic so much I couldn't hear the music. And then when I find out Kate Hudson at the time was like a super big crush, I went back and then that's how I discovered him. Because
It was
I
like
do like
Lyle Lovett marrying Julia Roberts,
Yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense either.
that's the craziest thing ever. That's the proof of simulation.
That is that is so fucked up.
Maybe he has a big swinging dick.
I mean, I'm sure he does. But he's also like the ugliest man in the history of men.
Chris has adopted a, you know what I mean?
I think you're forgetting that Al Davis has a girlfriend who's
Who's
like an
Al
Instagram
Davis?
smoke show, the owner of the Raiders.
But
The ugliest man alive.
no, why Kate Hudson is a score is because she's a
Goldie Hawn's
good
daughter.
good on her own as well. They're not together anymore. He's got a new wife. I'm sure she's smoking too.
Kate Hudson also has a new husband.
But they say, you know what I mean? But he says, you know what I mean in American. I shouldn't have done that.
Funny sidebar. I don't know if you remember this, but Kate Hudson's brother famously entered the World Series of Poker one year. And the very first hand, he's at the featured table. The very first hand, he's at the featured table with Sammy Farha. Sammy Farha has a cigarette dangling from his mouth. Hudson has tens. Sammy Farha calls his raise with ace 10, and the flop comes ace, ace 10. And he loses first hand of the World
There
Series.
you go. What son was that? Or what brother was that? She has two. She has the one who was in Godzilla, and then she has
He was good looking. I don't know
yeah,
if he.
it's the other one. Then,
Okay.
I think
Yeah, this one's good looking. Yeah.
he's like a brunette guy.
Yeah, not. I know what you mean. Not the one that looks like Kurt Russell.
Not the one that
Yeah,
Kurt
not
Russell,
the one
the
that looks
other
like
one,
Kurt
yeah.
Russell. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, because they're talking about Columbo. I feel like he watched Columbo in the last
Right
week.
before coming on.
Because he thought he'd make common ground with Joe.
I spent so much time watching A&E because
Banachek.
I would skip class and just go home and watch, and that was the only thing on. So like, no, not Banachek.
What the fuck would you watch A&E during the day?
The Rockford Files.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh no, so good. And this one we're just talking about now, I can't remember what it was, but I remember watching it. Quincy.
But they weed the smoking out of it,
Out of what?
out of life. All these shows people use to smoke.
And they don't smoke on them now?
Well, what I'd like to do is AI famous smoking scenes with a.
Now there's just a Pfizer logo over the cigarette. They're just,
Well, that's one way, or with just a vape. Because you can't vape.
Sorry, are you saying that they take smoking scenes out of shows now?
I don't know if they remove them, but there are no more in shows.
Nobody smokes in any shows, is what
If
you're
something
saying.
is, it contains smoking. But it just used to be, I mean,
yeah, outside of HBO, he's right. I don't think you really see a lot of smoking cigarettes on television.
I mean, you do, I think.
Well, Mad Men.
yeah.
That was
They went for a period piece and stuff.
FX.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
On like, I think it just depends on the show. Because on like Shameless, they smoked on.
That's also FX.
No, I'm just saying if it calls for it.
No, but I think he's saying like network television, ABC, NBC, CBS.
Did they ever show smoking?
Oh, I'm sure in the 50s and I'm sure in the
Columbo was
early.
always smoking a cigar.
Wasn't one of the A-team always smoking a cigar too?
Yeah, no, but I'm like cigarettes. Who in what like Seinfeld? Nobody smokes cigarettes.
Okay, I'm wrong. The
No,
statement
I'm just
withdrawn.
Oh
That's
my
not true. You see George
just
smoke a
thinking
cig-
here, man.
out
like
loud,
you
though.
brought up a
You're-
fucking
you're
question.
thinking out loud.
We're answering it.
Are we?
Yeah, we are.
You know what? I've had a fucking enough of you.
Art to fuck around.
This is hilarious. 2 minutes ago, these two were poking fun at me, laughing, jovial, fake laughing at each other, best of friends. Now we come in here and look at
Well,
this.
he's a fucking asshole. Have
Well,
you noticed?
No, I can't notice because you're only 5'8",
All this
and
was-
he's a fucking Arab piece of
listen,
shit.
Listen to the little
I
guy
thought
at the
you-
table
I thought you
fucking calling
might
out
have-
the big tall guy.
Not said anything, and just let me say I want to put vapes in famous smoking screens, which fell dead to the crowd, but I'm all right with that. But I really don't care. If
Okay.
Listen, the funniest man in Ottawa misses here and there too, okay?
Listen,
once in a
Junior,
while.
I need to interrupt you for a second, all right?
See, we're back on me. I got him off Kamar. See it? You're welcome, asshole.
Thank you. So Chris Robinson comes from
He's like, guys, discuss this, but then you discuss it and he gets angry.
Yeah. That's what happened.
It's really fucking annoying.
That idea that we used to talk about integrity was something that was lost, that we sort of like, they were like, we are going to be rock and roll stars and we're going to keep it real, that us versus them. Do you ever consider like Dead Kennedys, how sort of offensive that name would have been?
So you're now asking us a question. Do you want us to answer?
Did you?
He just wants a decisive answer and don't think out loud. That's what he wants from you. Yes or
Sorry.
no?
No. Now you can go on to your next point. Like, what are we doing here?
You never thought that
It never even occurred to me to think that Dead
he
Kennedys
got killed,
was a
and this
bad
band
name.
that was not mainstream.
And what did he
came out
mean the
and-
best logo ever?
It's the DK.
Yeah, it's not that great.
I
Is
agree.
it
It's not
something
that
special?
Well, that's his opinion.
great. I think the Wu-Tang W
At
is a
time-
more
but,
iconic logo.
I remember my friend Drew.
Yeah.
You don't know him.
No, but he had or it was Brett. I don't know. Someone had a Sex Pistols logo on it, and they got sent home for wearing that to school.
Yeah, I had an Offspring shirt that said some like bad lyric on the back, and I got sent home as well.
And the thing about the rock star and that guy is like, he's a grown up and he's successful and he's looking and living however he wants. And as you're young, those are, for lack of a better word, role models and stuff. And I just find it so strange that at that time, his aesthetic was just so far from, I think I was into dressing like a rapper or whatever at the time, and like punk rock and heavy metal. And just that was not cool.
I guess.
Everyone has their lane, sorry.
No, that's okay. I guess it was just a really easy logo for like a kid to copy
Yeah, like drawing
on their
class.
jeans.
on
Or
their
anything.
desk and like with a pen or something.
makes sense.
You know, that seems exactly like what it is because it's not that great a logo.
But I think I was scared of like Dayglow Abortions. It's a
Yeah.
lesser band. Just these crazy name bands.
Circle jerks.
Circle Jerks is a bunch of guys jerking off. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Dead Kennedy's most famous song was "Too Drunk to Fuck," wasn't it?
I can't speak to that. What I'm speaking to is how more controversial that is closer to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. If he never assassinated,
What year do you think the Dead Kennedys came out?
70s,
In? No way.
80s.
late 70s. But that just would have been like inflammatory to a lot of people, to kids or whatever. Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
Well, yeah, but I mean, they were also probably not that old. Like, I think how old do you think they were when they started the Dead Kennedys?
They They formed the band in '78, and Kennedy was
Marwins.
assassinated
69.
Yeah, so it
in
was
'69.
10
I'm
years
acting
later.
like I know what I'm talking about.
No.
I believe it was 69, actually. No, it was 2 years before the moon, 67.
63. I just think
way off.
enough time had passed that, like, just as an example, Kamar, we didn't even know why it was offensive. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I didn't know why it was offensive. But in retrospect now, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that would have been just really punk rock and
forgetting, too, it's-
ruffling feathers.
Dead Kennedys. There was another Kennedy that was assassinated
that's
as
right.
well.
Multiple Kennedys.
It's even more inflammatory. But there's something.
It's inflammatory on two levels.
But there's something about when we're younger, listening to music of us versus them.
Who has an inflammatory name now?
You know what, Kamar? It's
Who's come out with a name
6ix9ine, Tekashi 6ix9ine. No, that's not even.
No,
Little
there aren't.
Uzi Vert.
No, but even in like the past 30 years.
yeah, but you're all the Dead
Public
Kennedys aren't
they
that,
weren't popular.
they aren't that. That's what I was going to say. You'd have to look at some
No
underground.
successful. Yeah.
There's probably some underground band that has a really offensive name that you just don't.
No, I'm trying to think of like a big band who's made
Little
it, who
Xan is a
had,
pretty crazy name.
Public Enemy, I guess, could be like.
Little Xan's a pretty crazy offensive name.
Kamar, what I was going
Why
to
is little
Because
like
people
little
get addicted
Xanax?
and die of Xanax. Yeah, like it's promoting it. I'm just because he sort of surmised that rap has taken over the reign of irresponsible us versus them. Like I just remember listening to Beastie Boys, and it was someone would tell you to turn off. It was offensive music. They didn't get to listen to what it was, and it felt so mine or whatever it was. Just us versus them. Fuck the band. When you were at a concert, they were like, "Turn the lights back on. We're rocking. Like we're sort of in this together, sort of thing."
I love how nostalgic he gets about how he felt about music when he was a kid.
Well, I thought you guys were gonna be like, "Yeah, we felt that way too."
Well, I don't remember feeling about music that way. I just remember I loved if it sounded good, I loved it. I never. If I'm going to be real with you, the message was always lost on me.
Oh no, I don't listen to lyrics. I don't know what they were talking about. Certain songs where they say 5 words, like Cypress Hill rapping very slow, I could sort of gauge what they're doing. But even then, you couldn't see a video. You didn't know what these guys looked like. You just hear this song at one guy's party, and it'd just be like, "What the hell is going on? Where those people are, and how are there adults producing this music where they're talking about shooting and guns or whatever it was?"
First of all, because it sells. Dude, you're talking about us versus them. I forgot about this. I don't think anyone remembers this, but so Michael Jordan spent his whole career trying to lift up all the players in the NBA, right? Trying to get everyone paid. He was such a big superstar. He made the NBA arguably what it is today, right?
Okay, I didn't know he was helping other players. He did that?
Well, I mean, Simon, the second you get paid more, a rising tide lifts all ships. So the second anyone in the NBA makes more money, makes the biggest contract ever, everyone after that is now chasing that
deals, all this
contract.
stuff.
Yes, it always. So exactly, Michael Jordan, the shoe deal alone, that was created with Michael Jordan. So I believe that, yes, Michael Jordan inadvertently, I don't think he was trying to help others, but through doing what he did, he helped the whole league. The players had a better collective bargaining agreement. And here's where I get to. He buys the Bobcats. And when he buys the Bobcats, he immediately gets 15 other owners together and is like, we need to take, it needs to be a 50-50 split. Right now, the players are making too much money. The players at that point had a 57% revenue share. And it's just crazy to me to think that this guy was a player. He was on that side forever and was like, I'm a player. I deserve to be paid because I am the product. And then the second he becomes an owner, he turns around and is like, no, fuck that. You guys don't deserve to be paid. I think it's all about money, Kamar.
Yeah, I try to think of today. I think Zach Bryan might be in that lane. Everyone needs help, but just singing their songs, doing their thing.
Why? He'll sell out. Everyone sells out.
No, they're selling out and quite successfully out. Just the idea that I guess it doesn't matter because I'm 50 years old. I don't need a hero or whatever rock star it is, whoever it's going to be for the other people. But I just wonder, because of technology and stuff, now every kid is more likely to become a music producer right away. Just make songs in your bedroom like they do, versus a drums, guitar, and just rocking out. Like Oasis was cool. You didn't like Oasis?
I don't think I've ever been a fanatic about any
Style?
band, or you know what I mean?
You're not a Fish guy or a Deadhead. You
Yeah.
were.
Those are extreme. And
I know someone that's seen
Grateful
Pearl
Dead
Jam
is
live
CIA.
15, 25 times, something like that.
I can't even think of what band would pull me to go somewhere. Out of town to go see them.
Well, if Yuck was alive and the Beastie Boys were playing in Montreal, I think you'd go.
so less access.
Yeah, I probably would go see the Beastie Boys.
The first time you heard
I mean, even then, you went and saw Nas. You got a free ticket, so I get it.
I've been to see shows. I'm just saying, I don't know.
No, but let me give you an example.
first time
So
you heard
let's-
Weezer,
I was
your
really
mind wasn't
into
blown.
Dinosaur Jr.
Yep.
We went to
Barlow.
Toronto to see him on Halloween. It was amazing.
And it just absorbed it so much that you're sick of it.
he yelled at me to shut up during a
mostly we
show.
would go to Lollapalooza or something, where you see multiple things, and then that made it worth going to see the show because you're going to see a bunch of different things as opposed to I don't know. How long does a normal concert go for if you're going to see one person?
An hour and a half.
Yeah, I'd say hour and a half.
So
There's
you're
an opener
driving
and then
all the way to let's say
No, it'd be longer than if there's an opener.
that's what I said. An hour and a half, and then the opener plays a
hours.
half hour.
Yeah, something like that. But we go to the music festival, everyone does an hour and 10 minutes or whatever it is.
No, the music
it is.
festivals make more sense to me because you're seeing a lot of different things.
But again, before there was
your
the internet, the idea of going to a concert, just being outside a concert, if something was happening at the Civic Center or whatever, and you couldn't get in, you're 12 years old, and you just saw people having fun and the music, it was what's going on there? Now you can sit in your living room, and he complained a lot, and it just makes total sense. The TikTok and everything, I can see all the world. I don't have to do anything. I can see what other people are doing. I know I'm connected to everything, and you do nothing.
You don't
Yeah,
need
but
to
that's
go
not
to
true,
that
dude.
concert.
Listen, you go out, the problem is you were inside Blues Fest. If you weren't inside Blues Fest, you would have noticed that the bridge
I
was
noticed
like
still.
lined with fucking people. So people still like, I know it's not to the degree it used to be. Like Lansdowne, let's say, when I was a kid, if there was a show at Lansdowne, that bridge was packed with people just watching, right? Bystanders.
It will always be a spectacle, but just like the movie used to be a real occasion. Like we were talking about, a Chick-fil-A opened up in Canada, and there's like 3-hour waits for a burger.
Yeah.
But undoubtedly, when I was a kid, there was always a lineup for a movie. If you were going to a movie right when it came out, the first week or two, you were lining up.
Tuesday was like insane.
Like
People
insane.
used to camp out overnight to get Harry Potter books on the first day they came out.
So the concert, has always been a spectacle. There was a huge thing when the Rolling Stones played here. They almost had to shut down the bridge. Sorry, did I cut you off there?
No, it's fine.
Where everyone was watching for free from the back, just to see the spectacle. I think concerts are still cool, but other forms, you feel like you can just do it all from home.
I got to be honest, concerts are just too safe now. Like when I was young, I don't know.
Well, I think, was I saying to you, there used to be a thing called the Gloucester Fair. They'd always get whoever the big Kish went there, and Maestro Fresh West, whoever's the big Toronto rapper would be like the headliner there. And there was fights and swarmings, and you wouldn't want to go alone. It was just dangerous. It was dangerous, and it seemed it's too safe now. And like he's saying, everyone is making their content and their art with the intent to monetize, to brand, to get followers. Where the write a song to fucking have
You're
everyone,
writing a song in hopes of it being picked up by like a Toyota commercial or something.
like the Beastie Boys just sued somebody for using sabotage in a car. Like Adam Yauch had a thing about no songs are used. I think they use them in some movies and stuff, but no advertising.
It's so funny. I just heard "Start Me Up" in like a massive ad. I think it was an Apple ad, and I just thought to myself, I was like, they have made like on that single song alone. I remember Windows 95. They used it in their ad and paid them like $200 million in the 90s. Dude,
And that was the end of their career. So
yeah, I know.
More for the
and now
road,
30
boys.
years later, they're making fucking so much bank off.
This is the same band that hired the Hells Angels to fucking run their security at Altamont.
Well,
The best story, I don't know if you know this, but like the Rolling Stones owned the rights to this band called the Andrew Oldham Orchestra. And I bring that up because the Verve, do you know their biggest song?
Yeah, Symphony.
Bittersweet
there.
Symphony.
Bittersweet Symphony. Bittersweet Symphony is a straight up, they stole the song from this Andrew Oldham Orchestra. The melody, the
The string section, yeah.
Yeah. So the Rolling Stones, unbeknownst to them, their lawyers sued the shit out of the Verve and owned the rights pretty much to that song. So any money that
They didn't even do the song either.
no, the Rolling Stones had nothing to do with the song. And dude, I remember they were asked about it in an interview, and they were like, "What are you talking about? We didn't sue the Verve." And they were like, "Yeah, you guys definitely sued the shit out of
Somebody
you
did.
own this song." And they were like, "Oh, really? That's wow."
They just gave the rights back like 2 years ago.
Oh, did they? That's hilarious. They probably made so much money off it.
Richard Ashcroft. Yeah, that song. That song was like the 2000s. Everything felt like things were possible again. Just when it was like a song of a week, used to like, whoa, there's still hope.
Remember when movies came out back in the day, though? Like, remember when Trainspotting came out?
That came
And
out of
you
the
Bad
Town.
boys,
You
bad
went-
just
boys,
about
looking
to
on angel
you went to see
boys.
that movie, and you like walked out of there like it was just so fucking cool.
But that didn't.
I haven't
You're
been
old
to
now,
a
though.
movie in 30 years that has I've walked out and been like,
Yeah,
that
but
was
you're
fucking cool.
you're forgetting how life works. You had less to go off of then. You had seen less.
No, but if I saw Trainspotting today for the first time, I would walk out of that movie and be like, that is fucking great.
But that was at the Bytown. Like that was a specific.
You're stuck on this Bytown, man. What
No,
difference does it make?
that wasn't released at every theater.
No, I'm just talking about the way I felt when I came out of that movie.
You can
I
still
talk
find
about
like
even if you
nothing
saw it
is.
at home.
I know you're gonna say you're old, blah blah. Shit sucks now, and I'm not saying that as
No,
like
I
a
agree.
grumpy old man.
Simon,
The only thing that's gotten better is TV. TV has gotten better, and everything else on the planet has gotten worse.
Do you think there's some weird aspect that as well as just Train Spotting being such a wild movie that you're watching with other people. Like, what are other people thinking of this?
But you just brought up a great point, though. I think that's actually the shift that people went from making, because it's very tough to make a good, intriguing film.
No, you're
in the
absolutely right.
parameters
Yep.
that you're given.
Yep.
And I think people started saying, hey, I can make like a really long form, great story with a super high budget at this point, because the money they're getting is fucking bananas.
No, that is probably what happened.
And because it's streaming services and we watch most of the stuff at home and our attention is short, I think it might be a better way.
Movies really are just a dying art form.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to say.
Well, because you need a great director to be able to like make that 2 hours or 2.5 hours.
also the screenplay has to be great.
Sure,
But what about the fact that they
I'm
can
just
be
saying
made cheaper now?
It has to be like a great story to have it fit into that 2.5 hours, where I just don't think we get that very much. Like, I'm really seriously trying to think to myself, like,
Django was a great
in
movie.
the past 10 years.
Django was
just take 10 years.
Okay, but Django probably came out in the last 10 years.
I mean, Tarantino isn't, let's take him out of the equation, because everything he's ever made has been amazing. You know
okay, but
what
that's
I
kind of
mean?
unfair. Like,
No, but I mean, he's
but what you're saying right now is like, there's like if Scorsese came out with a hit tomorrow, and I know you're going to say that like Summer Moon or Flower Moon, Summer, whatever it was not.
It's terrible. So everything he's made in the past 10 years has been garbage. You can't say the same about Tarantino because his last movie was amazing.
Okay, but my point remains. Scorsese. Okay, sure.
You know
Sure.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I don't know why
Once
we're just.
upon a time in Hollywood.
I don't know why we're choosing to take one great director out of the mix.
No, fine, but just take 10 years.
Okay.
Name me somebody who's made a movie in the past 10 years that's fucking amazing.
I don't know how old Seven
Once
Psychopaths
Upon a Time
is.
in Hollywood.
No, Guillermo del Toro. No, that's not
What
the
did
guy.
he make that
No,
was
no,
so
The Shape of
no,
Water.
the guy,
Parasite. Parasite was a great fucking movie.
the guy who made
Parasite was a great movie, not English.
Okay, hold on.
guy who
Everything
made-
Everywhere All at Once.
not English. That's South
No,
Korean as well.
it wasn't. It was.
That's an
it
English
was
movie made by a
English.
South Korean. That's
That was a really good movie. I'll give you that. That was a really good movie.
The Birdman.
Birdman was a great movie.
Birdman's a great movie. Ex Machina. Ex Machina.
It's not in the past 10 years, and neither is Birdman.
Ex Machina is in the past 10 years.
Birdman's the last 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Well,
almost sure. Might be on the
we got
cusp,
we got
Simon.
a feeling movie game here, but Ex Machina has the same thing as
Ex Machina is more than 10 years old. 100% it's more than 10 years old.
Again, it might be on the cusp.
2014. So exactly 10 years for Birdman is 2014. And Ex Machina is 2014 also. Wow, 2014, very good year for movies, apparently.
Maybe that was when it all ended.
Yeah, maybe 2014 was the last. Like, just as an example, because, like, well, who did you say before? Scorsese. Like, he obviously should have quit before he.
Well, he's
did
also super
Summer
old, so let's
Moon.
give him some.
And the one before, who did the Irishman?
It was Scorsese.
Okay, quit before you did that one. Then there's the guy I love so much who did The Beach, and then he did Civil War. Should have stopped before you did that one.
Stop.
You know
What about that movie about the guy that with the dog kills all the Nazis? That's like 3 years old.
Joe, the one Joe's talking about?
You haven't seen that movie?
No,
You haven't seen the movie where the guy has the gold with the dog and the Nazis.
no, I haven't seen it. It's
Guy with
it'll blow
gold
your
medal
mind.
with the Nazis.
John Wick there.
No, it's like Finnish. It's called Oslo or whatever. What's it called?
Yeah. It's John Wick in World War II. Joe talks about it all the time.
But you haven't seen it.
No.
Well, it's an amazing movie. Just like in the vein
Oh,
of
there, 1914 was good.
how is this made or whatever.
Even the army movies they make now, like
The Banshees of
They stink.
Inisherin.
Banshees of Inisherin was a really good movie.
And that's very subtle, and it still happens.
Very subtle.
It still
So again, they still make good. I get what you're saying. Like in general,
Just
Simon,
for the most part.
in general, they don't make. I mean, the budget of a lot of movies now is so inflated, and we know from that Matt Damon interview I bring up all the time that with DVDs, they can't take the chances that they used to. So
Yep.
we forget that it's an industry with money. Money's involved, and they care a lot about it. Your people.
Yeah, I think what I said holds true. In the past 10 years, we haven't seen a lot of great films.
I digress.
Okay.
I think it would help if we had someone in their 20s in the room just for their opinion, right? Because I think it is a generational thing. I think as you get older, or even then, I think it'd be good to have someone in their 70s in here to say, hey, did you feel in the 90s that they made good movies? You know what I mean? Get a perspective of.
But the whole thing, I hope, is to say there's this thing about challenging the status quo. Like that's what rock and roll is supposed to be, fringes. But as Chris would said, and I would say, if I could do anything, I'd be a DJ. Because I realize I always talk about that feeling of when you're killing a crowd. It's very difficult to get that, but you would get it if you got a touchdown, if you do a touchdown pass. But a DJ gets that too.
Well, it's easier with a DJ too because you just play hits.
But
you just play the best
hits,
of everyone.
And then you get good enough, you put your own music in there, you mix it up. Like I love DJ. I love DJs.
Do you think it's because like there's no money in being a rebel anymore?
But
there is. Yes,
I'd
that's
like
exactly
to know.
what it is.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where there was back in the day, but now everybody's so clean cut that.
Do you remember what you thought of Billy Idol?
Do I remember what I thought of him?
I just thought Billy Idol was this badass guy in leather cut off things.
I always thought he was like
hair.
a spoof,
Okay.
Billy Idol. I never really gave him the credit of being like a bad boy. I just
either
thought
way,
he was dressing that
being a
way.
DJ is the best job.
It doesn't really matter because like Billy Idol might have had that, but also been meeting with his financial guy on the weekends, like make sure we invest properly. You know what I mean? Like
He was.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like it's kind of a facade in a way.
It
like-
all,
For some of them,
Except
it
for-
was a facade.
Dude, I saw the most interesting. Pete Davidson did an interview, I think it was like 8 years ago, and someone asked him, I think it was like Sway in the Morning or Paul Rosenberg, one of the hip hop interview guys, and he was like, who's the best actor that's come through SNL? And Pete Davidson, without missing a beat, was like, Drake. And he was like, Drake. He's like, oh yeah,
Well,
dude.
he was an actor for
No,
before
but
he was ever a
he's
singer.
like he's playing a rapper. He's like you'll meet someone. He's like I'm a middle class white kid, and he's like you meet someone and you're like I know you, like you're me, like I know who you are. You're not. This is all like this. Yo wagwan fam. Like he was like he's just playing
We
this
know.
part.
He's
I know,
Wheelchair
I know,
Jimmy.
I know that, Simon. I'm just saying it's interesting to have heard it from like a famous person out there saying like
we
openly.
know it. We know it. It's all fake, especially hip hop. But it just falls on deaf ears now. Even Tupac and everything, and they may
well,
start
it was
believing they are
fake
who
when
they
we
are.
were kids too. We just didn't know it.
You didn't. I had never heard that. I thought they were really real.
Right? Like when you find out the real story of like NWA and Ice Cube and all the shit, it was all phony back then. We were just in the midst
I
of it. So
might
we
But it's
think-
weird though
see
because
it.
we live in a time.
Ice-T keeps it real. I might
No,
think.
listen, we live in a time.
Methinks.
We live in a time now where like there's a lot of rappers you've never heard of, Simon, that Kamar may have heard of, and that I've probably not, that are committing murders
Oh,
and crimes.
I'm
and,
sure there is.
like, don't forget Bobby Schmurda was
Mexican OT.
Bobby Schmurda
Mexican
was
OT's rock and roll.
how?
Well, that's just he's saying crazy shit. The beats are awesome.
That
It's-
whole British rap thing seems to me to just be like all criminals.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm talking
yeah.
about? What's that type of drill
UK
music?
drill, yeah.
I feel like though the
What's funny
second
though is they're always talking about guns, but in the video they can't have guns because
No.
they don't have guns. So it's always like, oh, and pop, pop, and they just do it with their head. Yeah, it's always.
hip hop turned 50 and it feels like it just died. Like it just supernovaed all over itself, and everyone talking about mumble rap, and I can't understand what it's saying. Like it just when something becomes mainstream, it's not cool anymore. Maybe that happened to rock.
yeah, that's
It
probably
just
exactly what
super
happened.
genius itself out.
Well, I mean, rock makes sense to me. Like if I'm looking back at the like how it all worked out, because you ended up with
Sex,
like
drugs, and rock and roll.
well, you ended up with like really hard guys that then shifted into that whole glam rock thing, right? The White Snakes, the whatever. Like you can't really from there go back to being hardcore. You
but
know
isn't-
what I'm
yeah, but
saying? You
isn't- no,
dressed
no, no,
up
but-
in spandex and wigs.
No, but I think isn't that like the industry doing that? Like, didn't the industry take hard rock and turn it into like wig wearing?
Well, I mean, those guys must have decided to do it.
Think
right?
about
like
Twisted Sister.
Motley Crue.
Think
Well,
about
who
Twisted
knows?
Sister. Think about Twisted Sister.
Yeah,
What was their big hit?
parents just don't understand.
That's Will Smith.
No, it was "Fight for Your Right to Party." No, it was something like that.
We're
though.
not going
Yeah.
to
We're
take
not gonna
it.
take it.
We're-
Thank
but
you.
they were
Yeah.
they were dressed like
They were just
cartoon
like
characters.
women.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
It was
crazy.
dreads.
We
Yeah.
never questioned it. It seemed
I would
counterculture.
if that song came on a radio or somewhere, like
Dude, Eddie
Help
Murphy.
yourself. I would lose my mind.
Eddie Murphy had the audacity to come out in like skin tight red leather pants with his dick hanging out,
Yeah.
and then have the audacity to be like, "This fag over here is
Yeah.
looking at my junk." It's
Yeah.
like, dude, what are you saying right now? Like, look how you're dressed.
Yeah.
So it's the image was just because Motley Crue, you wouldn't know this, but they tried to go grunge. Like after they put another album out, but they went all grungy. It was like
Do you think the glam rock thing was like a black
Product?
guys wearing dresses?
Yeah,
and that's why for us
because there was a lot of hard like.
being 16, seeing Nirvana was so much more authentic.
There was legit hard rock bands back then.
Who all transferred to become glam rock?
Well, they didn't transfer like I don't know. You're saying you're saying Twisted Sister was a hard rock band that wasn't glam rock and then became.
I assume
They were a
that-
hard rocking band that became glam rock
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
because of the video age.
I assume Dee Snider was at one point
a
like
real
a
deal.
normal
Real-
rocker.
real deal.
And then they said, listen, the only way you guys are going to become really famous is if you dress up like a lady and sing this song.
I mean, don't forget too. MC Hammer apparently was like one of the hardest dudes in Hollywood, and
Do you think he chose to wear those pants
He's
or
one of the
they were
only
like,
real rappers.
this is your thing now, MC?
no, I think that might have been him.
Too Short.
Like, you're
MC
forgetting
Hammer.
the time too, right? Like if that is the style,
It was never the style. He made that a style, but that was
but-
never like a thing.
yeah, but we're white. I
Even
see a
for-
lot.
I never saw black guys wearing parachute pants. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Like,
You are wrong.
Cult of Personality. In Living Color. They dressed up in like swimsuits. And they were it's so weird when I think about bands that you think are going to be like the next Rolling Stone, the next whatever. At the time, everywhere, plastered everywhere, and now I can't even remember. You can't remember their song, but it was. You remember Cult of Personality?
No.
It was Corey Glover. It was a 3-piece, all black rock band from New York City.
no.
It's funny you mention that. Like I remember there's a Friends episode where Chris Isaac is on, and like the crowd goes like the live audience goes fucking nuts. And if you think about it, it's like he had one hit. It's probably the best love song of all time. But like
What's the Chris Isaac song?
Is it a love
Wicked
song?
Game.
Is it a
Wicked
love
Game.
song?
yeah, it's definitely a love
I
song.
think it's a lost song.
Well, whatever.
Okay, well,
In the
those are
same-
still
in the
it's a,
considered-
it's a heartbreak song.
Well,
Yeah,
I still consider that in the realm of
you
love
are
songs,
correct,
yeah.
Matt. He's being.
I will.
Pedantic,
If you guys want some songs that are up in that genre,
Yeah, give me one.
I'll give it to you. I don't have it right now. But,
Oh, Bill Withers, with Hope She'll Be Happier.
You want to know what's
Probably the greatest love song of all time. Oh, and Donny Hathaway,
Unchained,
a song for
Unchained
you.
Melody?
oh my dog. No, but no songs that are coming out today.
Ew.
Good songs that you
Ew.
like. I swear, Eminem. Eminem is the best example of fuck you to the system, but he was just climbing up with the system. I mean,
He was just climb up with
what
the
was I-
system.
Well, I was 21. I remember being in Brisbane, Australia,
trying to
playing-
invent basketball.
playing Tony Hawk. To any hardcore listener, they'll be like, "He's doing what Joe's doing." Playing Tony Hawk
Yep.
and ripping bongs off the Billy, and I played that song with Dido for the first time.
Yeah, Stan.
And I wonder why.
I thought.
The morning rain clouds up my window, but I can't see at all. And even if I could, it'll all be great. Put your picture on my wall. It reminds me that it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Dear M.
Damn, it was me. But
Your biggest fan.
I thought I had heard everything, and then that
He,
came out.
he
Can
had
I
to
say-
wait so long to say those 3 words.
Yeah,
I
I'm
saw
sorry.
It. It was like on his tongue. He wouldn't let it go.
Oh yeah, finish your story and then I'll get to Eminem. You were in Australia. You heard that
thought
song.
I
Oh, no,
and
it's done.
Yeah, I thought I had heard everything, and now go down the road, and Eminem is just like a corporate shell of what he once represented as the ultimate fuck you to society, and I'll say whatever I want.
Isn't it crazy? Sorry, just before you go, that Biden, if you have a brain fart now, somebody refers to it as having a Biden. Like it's going
That's
to go
legacy.
down in history.
Well, no, it's funny because I was watching this reaction video. All these young black dudes I'd never heard Stan before. And so they're reacting to it. And I'm like, I was like, in my head, I'm like, fuck, I'm old. Like,
yeah.
and halfway through, they stop it. And the one dude is like, is this where the term Stan came from?
Yeah.
And they Google it. And I
That's
honestly
hilarious.
was like, "Ugh, ugh," I'm sitting there like about to fucking have an aneurysm. I was like, fuck, I'm old. Fuck. But it was crazy seeing them react because you forget, like, I forget that when that song came out, you were like, what the fuck? Like Eminem, I do this all the time. I have a tough time putting him in my top 10 of all time, but he fully belongs to be there.
When he released that song, nobody was stoked. You know what I mean?
To compare rappers, you got to put up their best song.
Ooh, interesting.
Well, that's okay. So what's Eminem's best song then?
What is Eminem's best song?
What is Eminem's best song?
Kill Me?
Kill You?
Is that what it is?
Bitch, I'ma kill you like a murder weapon. I'ma conceal you. When a claws with mills or
Album,
sheets.
it's album.
Well, his best album is Marshall Mathers.
It's just like comedy. It's
I
just
agree.
like
right?
comedy.
There's
I
no
agree.
doubt about that.
I would agree.
That's his
There is
super-
not another one
super-
that compares to it.
Super moment.
I mean, the first album has a lot of cheesy like Eminem voices.
The interludes there.
No, the interludes are fine, whatever. Like, there's actually some gems on that first one. Is it Guilty Conscience? The one he does with Bad Meets Evil with Royce da 5'9". That's like a fucking Eminem song that no one talks about that is incredible. There's another one on there where, what the fuck is the song? Fuck, I'm retarded. I am old.
I hate the interludes on Marshall Mathers. Like, there's the one where he's like breathing really hard at the
Like
beginning.
killing his mom or like, yeah. I mean, that shit definitely doesn't
There's
age
the
well.
Steve Berman conversation. Like, it's all that shit doesn't need to be in there.
You know what's worse? He just released an album and that shit is still in there.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
He has Berman like calling him, leaving a message. I'm not joking. Or Paul Rosenberg calling him, leaving a message like, we can't release this album, bro.
So many years later.
It's funny though, because again, I watched another group of young kids react to Kill You by Eminem, and they were so blown away by like how offensive it was. They were like, how did he get away with this?
Yes. Well, that ties in well because Chris was saying how he sort of had to take the cities are supposed to be a little bit dangerous. Just like you said at the concert. The concert felt a little bit safe. Like it's this idea of trying to make it all better makes us all duller.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Compliance versus defiance.
Well, he even says it in his song, right? Fucking my own mother, and they gave me the Rolling Stone cover.
Yeah. You goddamn right, bitch, and now it's too late. I'm triple platinum and tragedies happen in 2 states. I invented violence, you vile venomous violet of vicious taint Viking and ving, ving, ving.
See, you love singing.
Let's rap.
One thing I really envy, I've never seen, and just is now an imagination in my head, is when they talk about the European lifestyle, whether it be Italian or Spain or Greece.
My friend Dorina, who used to work at Ritual, she moved to Spain 10 years ago. She's in Ottawa this week, and she seems like way happier. And she's like, it's way cheap. Everything's cheaper. Life is way easier. Everything's better.
They siesta.
Yeah. I honestly was like, why am I here?
Built-in naps in the middle of the day. Like, how did my parents not choose to live there?
Yeah. Sun pretty much all year round.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
In Sidebar, they got into how France surrendered.
Like, you sold your house and moved 40 kilometers away. You should have moved over there.
I should have moved 1,000,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They,
true.
they talked about how France
One
surrendered in the war.
Yeah.
That should be used as a reference point.
Huh? What?
Surrendering can be it's not a whole thing. Like people surrender. Wars end by surrendering. It's not unheard of.
Well, that war didn't end because they surrendered. We are clear on that, correct?
Are we talking about France surrendering?
Yeah, in World War II.
Yeah, they surrendered and joined the Nazis.
And it worked out well.
Did it?
Well, France is having Olympics on Friday. I mean,
Thanks to
after
the U.S.,
fact,
or else
after the
Germany
fact,
would be having the
Ukraine
Olympics.
should surrender and they should work this thing out. I thought it was a parallel.
Oh, I see what you're
Apologize.
saying. Gotcha.
Have you guys ever been to
It's
Jamaica?
not at all the same
No.
thing. By
No,
the way.
it isn't. It isn't. It isn't. I do that all the time. Have you ever been to Jamaica?
No, sir.
Because he has when he talked about, granted, this is all rock star shit. Like having a life that you can just check into that's
So
there.
amazing.
I think it's Lenny Kravitz has a crazy ranch plantation. I have been to Jamaica and it is amazing.
Hawaii is the first place. If I was rich, that's the first place I'd own.
I think you should check out Jamaica. But you've been Hawaii? No, more weed, all the ganja.
I don't give a shit about that.
Diplo just built like $100 million house there. It's a really magical place, and it seems like a small island, but
I think there's a lot of violence there too. No.
yeah, it's real. I think that's probably part of the appeal. Goats in Jamaica only have one bad day. Who's the most famous person you met? He was talking about people that he met.
What was the goats thing?
Goats only have one bad day.
Like the day they get
Jamaica.
killed. Is that the point?
That was what he said. Yeah.
I guess what do we mean by met? Like they said hello to you, shook your hand,
Yeah,
that kind of deal.
well, I guess with him, he was talking about actually hanging out with them and stuff. But
Because hanging out with, I don't know.
I mean, I remember meeting the Sens right after in the playoffs, but they weren't that famous to
I met Wayne Gretzky, shook my hand.
Mark McGrath.
I don't think I've ever sat down with a famous person and had a conversation.
I mean, I've definitely, because I worked at Ritual and Babylon, I guess I've spoken to some like quasi famous musicians.
Yeah.
Like shot the shit for a few minutes. Yeah, I guess. Oh, you want me to name names?
Or not. I don't.
Well, no, I'm trying to like.
It's kind of a shitty story if you don't name them.
DJ Magic Mike.
No, well, like just rappers. I could go down the list forever. Like, fuck,
But these
Inspector
are
Deck.
guys like you met for 2 seconds.
I met
No,
Stan
like
Hope.
some of them I smoked weed with out back, or like smoked weed in the basement with them, or yeah.
Oh, Bill Burr, Pete Davidson.
Are you just naming people now?
Yeah,
Those
he
are
is.
people I met.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so
Sasha Grey.
The porn star?
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. How much that
Where
cost?
did you meet her?
So Jenny Lee Murray, who I worked with at
Yeah, we know her.
Barrymore's. Yeah, come on, yeah. Jenny Lee invited me. She was like, "Do you want to come to Montreal for the premiere of Smash Cut, the film she was in that was a Harvey Weinstein production?"
I watched it.
So I went to Montreal, and she was like, "Come meet me at this hotel. All the cast and crew are meeting here before the show." I go to the hotel, have some drinks with her, and we're in this hotel room with like 15 people, and there's this girl sitting there, and the whole time I'm like, this girl looks so familiar. Like I'm like, I feel like I know her. And whatever, we're shooting the shit. She's nice. I don't talk to her too much. And then after, Jenny's like, "What'd you think of Sasha?" And I was like, which one was Sasha? She's like,
Oh, you didn't even know it was
no,
her?
dude, I had
That's
no fucking
hilarious.
clue. And she's like, "That's Sasha Grey." And I was like,
Well played.
yes,
Well played,
yes.
dog.
Oh, it was better. I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's funny too because she was talking. I was sitting like across from her, and she was talking to the person beside her. She's like, "Yeah, I was shooting a scene today with this gross dude. He had like a established in 1984 tattoo." And I was like, I just thought she was talking about a movie again because like we're at a Then I
And she's an actress.
yeah, and then it hit me. I was like, that kind of scene. Yes. So I guess Sasha Grey for me would be because I spent like probably an hour in a room with her.
Who is the porn star who? Oh, Tracy Lords. She started doing like legitimate. She was on
Comic-Con stuff.
No. She was like on like a couple of shows. I wanted to say Melrose Place, but I don't think that was it. But something like that.
So Rick Rubin,
Yeah, this is what I said.
and I
Yeah,
I know
back to it. Yeah,
suggested they change their name to the KKK, and I don't think Chris.
No, he wanted to say some bad things about Rick Rubin,
He's
right until the
forgiven.
point where Joe said, "Oh, by the way, he's my boy."
I mean, this guy might be an asshole though.
Who?
This guy,
Robinson?
yeah,
I
like he
I-
told
I-
that story about Saturday Night Live where he was like, "All I wanted was I just
I
said
want to know
this."
who that was because I think I've heard that story.
But you know what I mean? And then you hear like Rick Rubin seems like everyone gets along with him. So for
Or he's a guru that molests them and they don't want to talk about
okay,
after the fact.
maybe, yeah,
And
true.
half of them have sold their soul to the little devil. I don't know.
could be.
Everyone has a side, but I feel like Rick Rubin's sort of sitting there picking his toes. Going, why do you call
He's in an
yourself
ice
the
bath.
KKK? Because I think he was trying to make them controversial.
you know what the best part
Didn't
is?
worry about the offense.
The best part, Kamar, is that he probably invoiced them after that for like $100K.
If I-
You know what I mean? For the studios.
For Rick Rubin, for production.
They're like, you told us we should call ourselves the KKK.
By the way, your opening tour stop is Brooklyn.
no sleep.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a lot of black people.
Yes. You could have chosen Atlanta.
Harlem would have
I
been
think
better.
Atlanta is a better choice.
But we finished the tour in Mississippi, so don't worry. If there's anything left of you, this song's going to like you.
I know he's canceled, but I heard Dalia. He's like, Atlanta's the only place where like you really notice black people.
Funny enough, Chris Robinson from Atlanta.
There you go.
Grew up with all that. If you misspell their name in any request, they throw it in the garbage. That's such a cool thing. Like I remember someone saying the band specified
The rider.
green M&Ms, and they said, "Well, why do you do that?" I said, "Well, if they fuck that up, then who knows what else is they're fucking up. But if they do that, they're probably covering their ass and doing a good job." So
I saw some ridiculous riders, and they almost never touch them. I remember Goldie. Goldie was like, he wanted like 10 fish fillets. That was like first thing.
it's just to do it it's because you feel like you're on top of the world, I guess.
Like 10 fresh pairs of Air Force Ones.
Yeah. A lot of them show up late too. But the riders are always like so extravagant and they barely touch them. It's always like, I need a fruit platter. Then they'll take a half piece of.
When he talked about the fact that, and it's the first time it made it more easy to understand that, his daughter will be alive in 2064, and she'll be 100 years from the Beatles,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and that I was born in 1975, and 50 years before me was 1925.
Yeah, what's the thing?
what
Like the
did I
moon
just
landing
read today?
The moon landing is closer to like Hanson.
The first 25 years of my
Wait,
life.
listen to this, because I've just read this morning. I photographed it because it was when you realize that 1970 and 2022 are as far apart as 1970 and 1918. Take a minute.
Jesus Christ.
Take a minute on that one, pal.
Yeah, time's an ugly
Time
mistress.
is fucked up, and which brings us back to you only have so many summers left, and you should be taking advantage of every single moment.
That's it. We're done. We're done.
They talked about aliens. They
huge-
talked about Bigfoot.
No, we're done.
I hope those things are both on
No,
your
we're
fucking
done.
list.
ancient
No, we're
civilizations,
Yeah,
ancient
we talked about that
civilizations,
too.
and just like these guys who are high as kites.
Why is this not the first thing? You know,
That's-
like
I know,
you're,
I
you're
said it,
so
I said it.
fucking like you have one job.
He makes
No, I
us
think
talk
we had a
about
great
the worst
conversation and
shit.
all this
no,
stuff
no, this
that
is
we
a
are now
terrible
rehashing
conversation.
fucking bullshit.
I mean, I don't want to talk about aliens, ancient civilization. Especially, you want this guy's opinion on it, or you just want to talk about it?
I'd be happy just to talk about it. I don't even need to be given the opinion.
I think we just give you the floor.
No, we're not doing that. You didn't even take the note about it, did you? Tell me what your note says.
Ancient civilizations, inventing democracy, Greeks, the authorities were the Romans. You shut down the Greeks who were coming up with all this higher thought. The Romans just wanted to keep people satiated with their colosseums. And he actually pointed out that the Christians destroyed the Library of Alexandria. And he told an interesting footnote about a guy who the Romans smashed as Puli Fusei, which is a great, Chris wouldn't specify. And it wasn't the wine that they poured out that was a loss. It was a 300-year-old cask. That means this you can't make that. And what other methods and ideas have been destroyed in time for us to not really
It
know?
really does make sense, though, when you look at it, that the the Roman Empire just became the Catholic Church. And it was like, people are starting to look bad on us taking over the whole world. But if we do it under the name of God, then everything's going to be cool.
And we don't have to
and
pay
they just
taxes.
kept doing the exact same thing. Just taking more and more land, right?
Land grab.
I think because Chris Robinson, they had an album that just came out, didn't even promote it, couldn't care less, is rock and roll, whether you like him or not, and could not care less talking to Joe versus anyone else who's intimidated by the platform, the opportunity, whatever. So had a great dynamic. I give this a 5.
There's no way you give this a 5. Don't fucking suck it at me,
I loved it.
asshole.
I
Don't.
loved
That's
it.
great. I'm happy. I'm fucking so happy for you. But your rating system stinks.
He paints his nails.
Yeah. I liked you better in a bad place.
Okay, wait. This is real now. I just got breaking information, okay? This isn't a picture of a big black dick.
I bet it is.
Blocking
Rolling
you.
Stone. President Joe Biden is no longer running for re-election in 2024. I believe it is best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down. Is this another fucking
There's a big black dick at the bottom of it.
stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term? Biden wrote in a letter to the nation, hit the link. I mean, that sounds like it's real. No penises this time. It's real.
There you go. You didn't hear it here first because this will come out Tuesday.
There it is.
I give this one a 2. I don't know where you got a 5
Harris
from.
is now president of the United States.
I wish we could now clip to me telling you for the first time about them bad-mouthing Biden and putting in Big Mike, but we don't need to because we all know.
Yeah, I'm not going to clip that in.
What do they call that? Smash cut.
Can you
That's what
rate this?
That's what they say in the
Film world, yeah.
film world. Thank you, Matt.
Can you rate this?
Yes, I can. Normal rating 2.5. Last summer ever, we're going 4.7.
So 3 4.7s this week, huh? That's
4.7 and a 4.8.
okay. Wow. All right. Well, that's an episode. What a fucking! If you made it this far, you hate yourself.
Yes.
Maybe you're willing
And
to go
you
a
must
step
hate
further.
us by now.
Yeah. And maybe you're willing to hate yourself more. Head over to patreon.com/JREE. Donate $5 a month to the show, and you'll get more hatred.
That really would be hating yourself. Like, I fucking can't stand these guys. Let me go give them
$5. Yeah, or more.
In perpetuity. Oh, by the way, it's in perpetuity for life.
No, it's not. For that $5, you'll get a bunch of stuff. Post Joe, old stuff we did, this, that, the next. Kamar's all salty over there. He's got 2 zins in deep. All right.
2 zins. Try like 12 zins.
Couple upper deckies.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you have a great week. We hope you enjoy your weekend. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open.